Okay, this is Wednesday, September 4th, 2024. We're at the Eagle House, and this is the Board of Assessors. We are trying to meet on Zoom, but it's not working at this time. So we are recording through our public broadcast, so thank you. So in accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting is being recorded and ideally broadcast live over the Lunenburg Public Access channel on Facebook Live and the Public Access Facebook as written in our agenda notice. The link is published there. The recording can be found on Lunenburg Access YouTube after the meeting. And this meeting is held in person at the location provided on this notice. Members of the public are always welcome to attend this meeting. Please note that while there is an option for remote attendance or participation as a courtesy to the public, this meeting is not suspended or terminated if we're having technical problems, unless otherwise required by law. Members of the public with particular interest in any specific item on this agenda should make plans for in-person versus virtual attendance accordingly. For remote participation, there is a Zoom meeting link, a meeting ID, and a passcode you can enter from the telephone. And this agenda lists all the topics which may be discussed at the meeting and are those reasonably anticipated by the chair. Votes taken as a result may be taken as a result of these discussions, and not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by open meeting law. I'm calling this meeting to order. It's now 7:10. So just since we're on video and not on Zoom, I'm Sarah Kammer. I'm stepping in as vice chair because our chair could not be here today.
And I'm John Rabbit.
And I'm Linda McQuaid.
Linda McQuaid. Thank you. Are there any opening comments from the board?
Should we bring up the issue? There's two issues I'd like to bring up if I could.
Is it on the agenda like later where we're looking at exemption form?
Not really in this regard. Okay, I've been approached by one citizen who was asking the status of his abatement. We in fact had signed off this an abatement on about the 3rd of July, I believe. And there still has not been a check generated for this individual. So we're 3 months from the moment in which we said yes, and it still has not yet been released.
Okay, so the issue is not that the abatement hasn't been granted, it's that the check has not been sent.
Right.
So yeah. I think we're still, it's unfortunate for the resident that that's happening.
It's
right.
not the
but
assessment.
It's not assessment. It has everything probably to do with Munis.
It's the tax collector.
And the
I
tax
think they
collector's
might be a
office.
little bit behind, but we did grant we are caught up to date with all of our
Yes.
abatements. They have been entered into Munis. That particular one was entered in on July 3rd.
Yeah.
And I did check with Mylene, and I guess she's gonna try to get those out. So I think they're behind.
They're
Okay, so
behind.
that was the first point you wanted to
Right,
talk
just
about.
that
Is
for
there
the residents that might be, and you haven't received the checks, give us a call and we'll try and ferret those out if they haven't.
Well, I think at this point, you can call us and confirm that we have processed the abatement. And after, if that is happening to you, you don't have a check, I think then you have to call the collector's office,
The tax
the
collector.
tax collector's office, because we can't do anything about that except say, please process that check. You'd be better off calling them directly than calling us for that part.
Right, and the second part, with regard to basically the assessing organization generating the billings for exemptions for checks and cutting checks for car abatements and things like that. There's been a push inside of the town to essentially cause it to become a responsibility of the board or the assessing organization. Am I saying this right now?
Oh, no, as far as the billing function, the way that the bills are for the motor vehicle.
Okay, so
Right.
this sounds more like
Or-
an agenda item to add rather than public comment. I don't want to have
We
back
probably
and
need
forth
to,
right now.
we probably need to bring that further down. This was something that just,
It
it is
just
actually.
came out.
Is it in the agenda?
It's,
Yeah, it's a,
It's not really in the agenda, but we can discuss it later on if you want
We
to
can,
move
yeah, we
on.
can talk about it in current when you give your report.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So that is the excise check.
It's actually the billing
Billing.
file processing of
Okay.
motor vehicle and real estate.
So you can address that.
I'll address it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other comment from the board?
That's enough.
I have none. Any comment from the public? Okay, thank you, public. All right, so status report from our principal assessor.
We've been very busy in the assessing office. Since our last meeting, we had 7 abutters lists. That's actually picked up. We got caught up on all of our motor vehicle excise tax abatements. Last week, we sent out all the chapter land applications. All of our exemption applications went out. People have been bringing them in early. They have until April 1st, and everybody's been coming in. So we're getting those all in folders and getting ready we have like more than 6 months, but we're always ahead of the game and getting them all organized so that we can get those processed. So we've started that. And our new data collector, Denise McHugh, started 2 weeks ago. She has hit the ground running. She's been out in the field, she's doing sketching, and she's been a tremendous asset to the department. We're trying to finalize the growth, so she's just doing a great job. We're trying to get caught up on the permits. We've got such a big list. I had one property that I noticed had a permit for an in-ground pool, and I went to look it up in Vision, and it was a vacant parcel of land, and I said, something wrong with that. You don't have a in-ground pool with a vacant parcel of land. Come to find out there was a house that was there since 2023. So Denise went out and measured it, so
Okay.
we've got the house, so I'm actually gonna generate a supplemental bill.
You know, I think we can expect to keep finding those for a little while because it's just been understaffed for so long.
Yeah,
So,
But-
you know, I'm hoping with all this progress by the end of like next year, we're not getting surprises anymore.
yeah.
Sarah, if I could
Yeah.
support what your statement is, that essentially we know that for a short period of time, even the building inspector was not loading the system in with building permits. And that's a notification system that goes all the way around. So that didn't happen. It fell through the cracks. We know that basically CJ, and he had confirmed to me that we were asking him in terms of how many inspections are you doing post-sales? And it had been for as long as when he goes, we haven't done any. So there's a mountain of work there. And there's a pile of money that's been left on the floor. And I think that our data collector, Dana, is going to pay for herself many times over.
No, she is. And the other thing that we need to do is when we hire an admin, and if Rainier and I can get caught up, we also have not had a chance to put our building permits in Vision. So that's another thing that they need to be keyed in. At this point, we're trying to follow up on them, get them into Vision, and we are doing that because we're trying to get everything in. And so this will be another supplemental bill that I'll be generating. But
Can you bring me up to date a minute? Do we have anybody for admin?
We've had some applications come in. The difficult part is we really would like to get somebody that has some munis experience or at least some municipal experience.
Yeah.
And that's difficult. And with being short-staffed, to train somebody is just going
Just
to
too,
take,
yeah.
it's going to be cumbersome for us. And we're trying to get caught up on all the stuff that,
Okay.
And Mr. Chairman, if I could just compliment you, Irina, you go in there, and Sarah, there's piles of things going out in the mail and envelopes being stuffed. And I'm looking at our lead assessor, and she's cranking on that. She's got 2 or 3 different calls coming in at the same time. And I'm sitting there and I go, how do they do this? How do they do this?
It's nice that we have qualified people to operate
Boy, I'll
that
tell
busy
you,
office.
you are so saving us. You really are.
well, we're all working together as a team, and we try to help everybody that comes in.
Yeah.
And I had a lady that came in that the other day, her husband is sick, and she said, I can't leave him. And I said, you know what? If you need me to come pick up the forms for you, we will gladly do that. That's what we're here for.
That's what
So
we all should be
we're
doing,
we're doing the best that we can, but we're just trying to get caught up and get everything into, the most important thing is to get everything into vision, make sure that all the properties are in there, and that Rena is up to date with the deeds. So the next thing we're gonna focus on is just making sure that all those permits are in.
Right.
So printed out a list of the permits today for Denise, and she's following up on them, and then
Right.
she's gonna start cyclicals, and we're also gonna follow up on sales as well. So we need to do that for the Department of Revenue.
And we're probably gonna put a little bit more on your plate, but we'll talk about that in
Well,
fall.
when are the cyclicals due for,
We have a 5-year plan.
okay.
We did do the reval last year.
Yep.
But we do need to do
You have to do a certain percentage.
500 every year.
Yeah, 10%.
Yeah, so between Denise and I doing the building permits, every time we go out, we put a visit history into Vision, so that counts
Yeah.
as.
There's that 400 homes a year you have to get out. And how many
Yeah.
can you do a day? And a
Well-
year you got, that's 2 people.
Yeah.
That's 2 a day for 1 person.
Well, she's been doing 4 or 5 a day.
Nice.
And, you know, I,
Picking a neighborhood and getting
Yeah.
at it.
Yeah.
yeah,
Great.
oh, actually, speaking of neighborhoods, our neighborhood committee, is that one of the?
It's
on the
later.
list.
It's
Okay.
later.
I do have one that we came across,
Great.
is inconsistent. I don't know if you want to wait for me to discuss that at that time?
You
or-
can give it to me then.
Okay,
Um,
all right.
I think the excise check billing, do you want to talk about?
Oh, that right now?
Yeah.
We do have an issue with responsibilities of the assessor and the tax collector. That actually came up this week. The tax collector is wanting the assessing department to handle more of the billing file. We would just take the billing file and from Vision and just give it to her. And as far as with motor vehicle, we never really took the motor vehicle excise tax file that comes from Kelly and Ryan, and we didn't really process that. Now we're being asked to process that. So that's something that I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna
So-
be getting,
Has this been run through our interim town manager?
he had requested that we take the file and upload it into
Okay.
Munis.
So
He's
that-
asked that,
That sounds like what has to happen then, because it stops with the town manager.
yeah, so that's gonna happen, and then I guess she's gonna pick up the other point, but we'll see what happens. He did indicate that we would get some help with that, or some assistance, so I'm hoping, because I just feel like we have enough on our plate.
I do think you have enough on your plate. It's just, it's not, I don't think it's our role to tell the town manager what to do.
I don't either.
So, you know, I think can speak to the town manager and say, where have you seen this occurring in other communities, and point out that it's irregular from what we've seen, but I don't think we have the power to tell the town manager
No,
that this can't happen. We can express our disgruntlement about it, but
I did do that.
Yeah.
I did speak with him.
and this board can do that too, and I think I will, if it pleases the other member of the board, which I think it does, talk to Mr. LaFond about it.
Oh, I think we should.
Yeah.
But I had some conversations with Department of Revenue today. First of all, we're elected to establish the policies and procedures with regard to what the organization does, right?
Well, we are in terms of inside our assessor's office.
Right, right.
We do not get to control what happens between the assessor's branch and the other part of the financial branch. That is by town charter.
So I took
so
an action. Oh, go ahead.
So if it's counter to the town charter, we might be able to do something, but
I contacted DOR to confirm, well, I talked to Becky in this regard, and she feels that no, we shouldn't. In fact, she believes it's a conflict of interest in that regard, and she was pretty, vehement, saying, yeah, and she was going to let us keep moving along, but I really do believe it is, and given some of our history.
So I think what we can say then, and maybe this sounds like it's not quite in our agenda because it just came up, but I think maybe we put on the agenda for next meeting to have a draft of a letter that incorporates some of the things that you talked about with Becky at DOR.
Yeah.
That talks about that conflict of interest and why we consider it inappropriate.
Right.
And go that route. That's what we can do, but
Maybe
we're
we
kind of
should
stuck
share
with
that
it for the moment.
Share that
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Carter, that he should be actually checking with Department of Revenue, because my clear interpretation of what I was told today by our local representative is that this will be perceived as a conflict of interest, and it's clearly another function.
So I appreciate that you had that conversation, and I
I did
know
for a lot of other things.
and I know you're reporting it, but I wasn't in that conversation, and it wasn't put in writing. So I would like the opportunity to review it before I
Okay.
draft a letter like that.
Okay.
Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get these instructions from Mylene. I've never done this with the motor vehicle, so I guess I'm gonna see what it entails, and from there I can let the board know. But
Right.
I've been asked to do it. I will do it, and then from there I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
At this point, and if it seems like, I mean, we have to have checks and balances, but
Oh, yeah.
I agree with that too.
yeah, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
Once I can see when she hands me the
And
book.
I would like to also emphasize, this is not Mylene. This is another department that's overrun with a lot of other things going on in it. The town needs procedures, work breakdown structures, things like that, it just, the bigger we get, the more we move away from line of sight management and more into more regular functional, how we do things, and people move in and out, and we don't have that.
Well, the
Neither
other
we.
thing is, we have an interim town manager who is just assessing and triaging and
Yeah.
trying to get things done.
He's doing a
So
great job.
we
He
have
is
to
doing-
understand that part too.
He is doing a great job, and the other assessors were not doing this, and this is something new that's kind of come on the horizon since I started. So,
Yeah.
we'll see. I'll see what it entails, and then
Yeah.
we'll just, I guess, discuss it the next meeting. And
I'm sorry, I can't quite fix that.
no, well, it's fine. We'll just address it at a later date. But at this point, it needs to get done. So
Yeah.
we need to get our motor vehicle excise tax bill out.
Do they have a procedure they can hand to you, an operating process that they
Yeah,
can
I
hand
think
you?
that's the next step. Is we have to
And,
get
and,
it done.
and how long do you have to come up to speed on this? Is there some training that you can have?
I don't even. I know
Yeah.
she's done it in the past, and I know
Yeah.
she has the book, so I'm sure she'll produce the
Okay.
instructions with it. So, yeah. But,
Well, thank you for all you're doing there. Any other information that you want to convey?
that's it.
Okay,
Well, you stirred up enough.
thank you. With your permission, fellow member, can we skip over the minutes from August 19th?
I would
And
second
save
that
them for the next
motion.
minute? Okay. I will email Mr. LaFond and let him know that that needs to be on the agenda for next week.
Okay.
And also on the agenda for next week, for upcoming stuff, we need to look at rules for tax files
Yeah. Yep.
and discuss. So we can put that on the agenda for the 18th, hopefully.
Okay.
I think you're running the agendas now,
I am.
so if you can pop that into the agenda, that would be quite excellent.
I'll be coming back that day. Oh, my wedding is on the 14th, so that's my
Oh.
first day back. So I got to do that agenda next week.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, so that brings us to our next topic here, review and approve invoices, expense vouchers, payroll, billing errors, etc.
Yep, I do have 3 invoices. Just want to make sure that I have them all. We do have that motor vehicle commitment.
Okay.
So I have, this is an invoice from RRC, which is the personal property.
Okay. So have they finished doing their personal property? this year?
I have not gotten the amount for the growth. That is for the utility head
It's
breakdown
for
there.
account listing, discovery and file maintenance, and wireless and cable review and valuation.
Yep, they did the appraisals, and then they did have someone come out who was doing some of the businesses, the appraising for
Okay,
that,
but we're still waiting
the listing.
on
yeah.
the
I'm still waiting on the growth.
growth.
They did tell me that they would have that by the end of this week.
Oh, that's
So,
great.
so we should be all set, and we're anxiously working.
That's amazing.
Denise and I have been working very hard to get that done.
Great. All right, so you just want us to sign on here?
Yeah, if you could sign those.
Okay, so, Mr. Rabbit, this is
Okay.
from Real Estate Research Consultants, RRC, and it's for 10,100.
I thought I had more than that, but
Today's,
One is 60.
this is for our sales postcards. We're gonna start following up on sales, so we're gonna send out, it's like a blue 4x6 card that we're gonna send out, giving people notice, and then we're gonna write on it that we'll visit in 1 to 3 weeks, so that they know ahead of
so
time.
they know
Yeah.
you're coming.
And then we've been leaving a door hanger so that when Denise has been going out, and she has her badge, I'm ordering her a coat. And
I think Sarah and I need a coat.
So,
Yeah.
so does she go and knock on the door?
She
within 1 to
does.
3 weeks?
yeah,
And if no one's home, a hang tag
leave
to
it,
come
door
back
hanger.
again?
Yeah.
Okay.
She said to me, she said, I feel a little awkward because she's an appraiser. I feel a little awkward going on people's property. And I said, well, if you're feeling awkward, you know, don't, obviously you don't have to walk around. You see what you can see, check the card.
I wouldn't walk around the back.
Use your own discretion. I mean, if you feel uncomfortable, obviously don't do it. That's what I do. Most people are fine where we have ID. You know,
Yeah.
obviously if there's a dog.
Well, if you
Yeah.
don't know someone's coming, you're always a little
Yeah.
surprised these
Yeah.
days. Yeah. I was just, this is a little bit off topic, but I was just thinking, you know, we're doing this now and this kind of thing. It would be great if, as we're going forward, we're recording this. So when we go to put in our next year's budget, we have these things in mind. I think you already had this in this year's budget, but I'm just wondering if we need to
Oh.
increase or decrease anything, we make sure we
We have it, yeah.
put it in.
That budget was actually done before I got here, so I've been kind of watching the numbers on that.
Yeah,
so
it's hard when you're
Yeah.
just getting in.
I kind of came in the middle of it, so this is for the mapping. Now our department takes the mapping bill for every department, so maybe this is something we can visit next year. It's 8,100, so I know that our departments use that, but we take the bulk of that charge. That's for near map.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a great tool. It allows you to go in and look at a property. If you have like a question about like a deck, or like I looked at a shed, and you can actually go in and look at it and see if something is there.
Yeah, so it looks like our building
The-
department probably
uses
uses it.
Yeah, I don't know if planning.
Land use, well, I
Oh.
don't know,
Planning, maybe conservation uses it as well.
maybe. I mean, it's a town-wide asset, so
Yeah.
it's gotta get paid for.
This is a new piece of software then?
No,
No?
I think we've had your map for
Your map?
some time. And that's the one you were talking about that lets you look at those views so
Right.
we can really see what's going on in the parcel. This is a bill from Nearmap for ArcGIS integration and Nearmap oblique for government. And the total for that is $8,100.
Is that an unlimited license for the
No,
copy?
it's an annual license.
Annual license, okay. And is
But
that
it is
open-
unlimited.
It's limited to how many can you?
It has unlimited seats
Okay,
for the
perfect,
government.
perfect.
For the government part, but not for, we don't have any seats with ArcGIS integration because our town doesn't really have their own ArcGIS. And it has nationwide coverage, but since we don't have our own GIS, we don't use it.
I'm sure he's using Google.
That's it for the invoices.
Okay,
This is the warrant for the commitment. I just made this up.
Oh, for the excise.
So this is actually the warrant, and I just attached all the forms. So you can actually just sign this top one here. That's all the listing of the bills for that. Is I think it's,
So which commitment is this? Is it multiple commitments now?
yeah, that's actually, so you could sign the 3 lines there and then just the top form. That's the state form that we have to give to.
This one?
That one is just for our file.
For our
So you could
files.
sign
Do you want me
that.
to sign it?
Yeah, sign that one and then the top form, because I have to give that to the tax collector and then the finance director.
So how many more commitments for excise tax on these do you think we're gonna get?
Typically, there's like 6 or 7 a year for motor vehicle.
Okay,
And then once that goes out, our firm will be ringing off the hook with motor vehicle excise tax abatements.
abatements.
So we're having a breather now, but next week or whenever that
It'll
goes
start
out,
up again?
It'll start up again, and it.
But this is still related to the previous ones that we've signed.
This
Or
is,
is this the new-
this is the new one.
This is the new one.
This is the one that I have to upload. This is the file that needs to be uploaded
Okay, so this is the file to upload for next year's excise taxes.
for the next
What's the
period
number
it's
on
gonna
that?
go out.
How big a number is that?
There's, I believe, there's, I
It says,
think there's 2, wait, it's right on the bottom there.
yeah, the invoices, there's 525 invoices that go out. The valuation is $5,745,122. And the tax for that is $87,149.30.
So there's 500, and there must be 8,000 cars, so, yeah, okay.
It's quite a bit.
Yeah.
And that's not the biggest one. Typically, the first one of the year is the big one.
Okay.
So not only do the tax bills go out, the first commitment goes out. So we're busy the first of the year. And then we have the
Do we send
abatement.
them both at the same time?
No, they don't typically go out. Thank God they don't go out at the same time.
If you could sign right here.
Shirley Ryan,
Right here.
okay.
I'm gonna draw the lines on this one. There's no lines, so I'll just draw them in.
And this is the abatements for
Those
the
are the-
previous years.
Yeah,
Or, yeah,
the previous
The previous
commitments.
commitments, okay. And it's an abatement total of $4,006.92.
Yep. And this is a,
So these are all canceled plates, basically.
they are. Yeah, people either sold or they traded it in.
Or sold the car and forgot to get the plate.
See. So we have to give a copy to the tax collector and the finance director, so this is the same. I printed out. These ones have the lines. Eunice sometimes is picky. We check the button and sometimes it prints, sometimes it doesn't, so this time I printed.
All three of them, are they?
All 3 of them are the
Okay, they're
same.
the same, we're just signing in triplicate.
Yeah, we had a huge pile and we got those, took us 3 days to get those done.
Okay, I'm just signing up top here, okay?
Yeah.
And then here's another batch.
That's like, it's roughly $10,000 at this point of abatements. People gotta get their canceled plates turned in sooner.
And you know what happens a lot of time in the mail? They'll just send us cancel plate receipt with no application, no name.
You have no idea what
And
it's
then we have
for.
no idea what it's for. We try to look it up and so.
So cancel your plates, send your receipt with your name and your license plate so we know.
And please put your phone number.
And your phone number. You'll
So-
save us a lot of time and money.
You'll get your money a little sooner.
But you know how often do you change cars? You don't really think about it until you need to do it. So it's not like you do it every day.
This is the last one. That's just a single copy. And that is it for that stuff.
Okay. Oh, I missed one? Look at that. Thank you, Jeff.
There you go. You're right, you got
You
it.
done well?
Yeah.
Okay. Is this everything?
That's everything.
All right. God, you're whizzing right along here, Mr. Chairman.
Well, you know, I got things to do.
Yeah. Go to
No.
bed, get some sleep.
No, we just, we know what we,
Thank you so much.
these are pretty straightforward. This is not the complicated part of the meeting,
Oh, okay.
right? We gotta talk about some other
We
things.
Good
like,
stuff.
like
Yeah.
it when it's nice and easy.
Yeah, we get the easy stuff done. So would you like to share with me, that file that you wanted me to see about?
Yes, the map. So we came across in our permit investigation, we were looking at a house and the property was on Crescent Terrace and we started looking at the site indexes. And if you, I made a copy.
Oh, I
of
see
that.
it.
They are all over the place, not consistent. So Rena mucked that up today and we wanted to bring it up tonight
Okay,
because that does need to be looked at.
all right.
Doesn't make any sense why,
Well, it looks like, just from this map, it looks like a couple of values just weren't even assigned. Because they're zeros.
yeah,
And so I'm wondering if, and I have no idea until I look at the file, if some of these were new growth and, you know, the property got entered, but no neighborhood got assigned to it. So we'll definitely look at this. Jack, do you have anything you want to say there?
No, I'm just thinking the size of that is a 0.2 acres. I didn't know that's a buildable lot, is it?
You know, I'm not up to date on all of the
Yeah.
latest planning. I think it depends on
0.25.
whether you're near water or not, or connected to town water. But I can't really say that
Yeah.
that applies here without looking at a larger map.
Right.
it's just, see, you have some are 4 and then you've got 1B on the other side. And you could see kind of with the,
4.
in the cove, you could see that being maybe, 1B.
Yeah.
But some of the other ones, and I don't know if that's actually close to where you are, Jack. Is that a smaller pond there? Is
That
that,
is Little Hickory.
yeah, is that a smaller pond though off of?
Yeah. There's a pipe that runs across and
Across the road there.
Across the road, but it's dry sometimes, and it's just an overflow. But it's a real shallow pond, and I don't know if anybody really. You're saying there are actually homes on these sites, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. We
Well,
missed
not
out.
on all of them though, right?
Well, Denise went out there and she had said that, yeah, they all have water view. So we just happened to look at it, and I said, oh, that's kind of odd that was a 4.
Yeah.
So
Some of them are pretty swampy, but
yeah.
Well, and some of these say 0, and I don't see a footprint of a building on them, so that might be also why they're empty.
so there's 1, there's
Because
2,
there's
The site
not
index.
a house on there.
4.
Yeah. Should it still have a site index though?
It should still have some kind of site index, and it could be that previous assessor boards said, well, there's no house on this, so we're not really considering it a neighborhood with any qualifier, we're just considering this to be land. However, we know that a lot of our valuations of on the water are
Yeah.
are higher because of the land, not the house.
Linda, what
So,
about this one here?
That's
number
definitely something to look at.
84. There's no property on there, and there's no home,
Mm-hmm.
and there's nothing, no reference point.
So that's definitely something we can look at,
Yeah.
because we can see the parcels.
Yeah.
Now that committee needs to meet. I haven't been able to schedule a meeting because of things I've been dealing with, but it's gonna happen shortly.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? Some of these don't. This one, 84, doesn't
Oh,
have
sorry.
access.
I did have a resident send an email in
Oh,
regards
that it's
to
land?
that.
It's the land,
It's
landlocked.
Yeah. So that also could be an explanation for it, but
that.
there's really, in some cases, it's just hard to explain because there's no notes
Right.
of how these were assigned, because it was assigned by a previous contractor, not through our office, right?
Right.
So it goes to what we're building here, is a why things are certain ways. And that's gonna be a big job.
There's another one too.
Yep. So,
Yeah.
This is
All
what
set.
we try to do when we go out and look at the properties. We see something like this, we go and we look at the map. Just to make sure that it's consistent.
thank you. Okay, next up we have a review of the overlay surplus.
Yeah,
Which I think, if I recall correctly from watching and listening to the meeting, is that our town manager asked us to look at what we have in our surplus.
yeah, he just wanted, just a review of it,
Right.
for informational purposes, so,
And what do we, okay.
He wanted us to release any excess we might have.
not at this
No?
point.
Not
He
at this
just-
point, he
just
just wants to
wanted-
understand.
just some information on that. I sat down with Brian, we kinda went through it last week, and we figured out the 5-year average, taking out 23, which was kinda skewed
Yeah.
with all the abatements. So the 5-year average was actually based on 24, 22, 21, 20, and 19. And again,
Right. So what's your magic number?
$138,981.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's usually what our surplus is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or the abatements granted, that's the average of that. That's a 5-year average of that,
Of the abatements
of the
granted.
abatements,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I had come up with 127, and I used a standard deviation and all the other stuff. But what I didn't have was what is sitting in the queue at our
Oh,
ATV.
what we're holding to cover anything
Cover
that
for
could be
the
happening.
future, so that
Yeah.
would bump that up, but I don't know what that number is. And
Well, this number that you just told us are abatements that are granted, right?
Yeah.
It's not telling us what we're holding in case of an ATB, and
Right.
that's the tax
Yeah,
board
we-
telling us we owe.
And we have 4 or 5 cases still pending, don't we?
Well, that was the 5-year average of the abatements granted.
Abatements, it's
So-
not
Just
what
the
we're
other
holding.
piece. That's the other
Right.
part that would kick it
It's
up.
not the surplus.
No,
Right.
so for FY 2024, so far, we've granted $181,726. That was abatements and exemptions
This year.
this year, FY 2024.
So that's above what we have done historically.
Yeah. Now, we did receive four ATP cases for FY 2024. Well, I just got them in the mail. We estimated 20,000 for those cases.
Okay.
That would bring that FY 2024 total up to $201,726.
So that's how much?
$201,726 we
Okay, so
estimated.
I have a question there. When we estimated the 20,000, is that the total amount people going before the board are requesting, or is that what we think we will
We-
have to pay?
We think it's an estimate. We're uncertain.
Okay, so I would like to know the total amount people are requesting in case that's what we end up with.
I can't tell you that because
We can't.
there was no value indicated on the abatement applications, and that's the reason why they were denied, because there was no information.
I see.
So it makes it difficult to
I see.
indicate an amount.
But they were. So in all 4 of those, there was no value whatsoever,
Yeah, there
which
was
is
no-
why we rejected in the first place because it was improper.
Yeah, and these were granted. Some of
Okay.
these were granted from 23.
Okay.
2 of them were withdrawn because some other cases were
Mm-hmm.
negotiated. So this is the attorney that had filed these cases.
I see. I see.
For 24.
Yes.
So now he filled them out. We denied him because we had no information. So that's the issue.
Mm-hmm. So that's
we don't
in front of
know.
the board. So actually, the amount. Now I understand that
Yeah.
that makes sense why it's that way.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we're expecting for this year to be, if we're being conservative, 201,726.
Yeah, and we have
Plus, something's gonna hit. You said 20,000?
yeah, and Brian.
Yeah, that was
That was
with the
part of it.
20,000
That was
added.
the 1
Yeah.
1 plus
Yeah.
20,
So-
okay.
So we had, we were just kind of estimating 379,000, roughly, a little over that. And then Brian was saying, well, we can estimate for FY 2025, 221,000. So that will leave an available overlay surplus of 158,392,000.
Okay.
And again, that's just estimate. And
Yeah.
that doesn't include our senior work off also, so I just wanted to mention that as well. And I don't have any figures on what that would be
Right.
at this point.
Oh, so senior work off comes from
Comes from overlay.
from our overlay.
Yeah. Yeah, I just actually, yeah,
That's crazy
yeah,
because that's not.
yeah.
I mean, I'm
found-
glad we're doing it, but
I found that out today in the
It's-
finance meeting that actually.
but the
wasn't
overlay
included.
is under the assessors.
Yeah,
Why are they taking it out of the overlay?
Well, that
Because, it's an exemption. Would that be because we're...
the seniors are,
Yeah,
well,
it's
it
a
is.
senior
It is.
exemption.
That's probably right. Actually, now that you mention that, because it's a thing we're granting for the taxes that are owed on property. So we kind of need numbers on that to actually be able to give the town manager how much we have.
and I might not have that probably till
What?
Julie would have.
Julie.
Julie
yeah.
have it?
That might
She's
not be.
running the whole thing now.
That might not be till October or November. I'm thinking, right?
She needs everything in by November 2nd, I think, or
Okay.
November 1st.
Yeah.
That brings me to just just a question. Seniors can apply at any time, right? Or is there a time limit
To work?
to?
Yeah, January 1st,
January
right
1st.
up to November 1st.
So if we know from January to 1st to November 1st, so by November 1st, we would know the total amount of our liability, so then we can return that. And then we can just hold that money to make sure that works. Okay.
Yeah.
We should make sure we let the town manager know that particular aspect of it. That
He
they can
does
apply.
know that.
Wait, he does.
Well,
Okay.
we were in the meeting today, the finance meeting,
Yeah.
so he does know that does not include the senior work off.
Okay.
Yeah, that was brought up today.
I'm making the assumption that on the deferral piece that we're going in with, that is not an exemption, it's a deferral. And that deferral would not come out of the overlay?
Well, a senior tax work-off is not.
No, okay, I'm talking
It's-
deferral with regard to the tax deferral.
Okay, but
That's a
we're
different
talking
animal.
about the senior
think-
tax
Okay.
work-off right now.
I think that might
Let's
be something different. I think the deferral might.
let's
be
talk about the
something
deferral
different.
next. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just talking in terms of what are we gonna come up with an overlay number
Agree,
before
but
you
I
hack it.
want to make sure we get through one thing and think about that
Yeah.
completely, and then
Okay, and
we
then
can
we come
talk
back
about the
and
deferral.
talk, okay.
Because otherwise, I just get confused. I cannot keep that all in my head.
Get out of
It's a lot
here.
of information to cover.
She's a
Yeah.
sandbagger, are you kidding me?
only so much my active memory, or my,
Especially at what, 8:30,
Yeah.
8 at night?
I've already been up since 4:30. Okay, so, so that's it for things that we know about right now in terms, okay. So we basically need to know and have a report on November 1st, really, because that's the last day seniors can apply to that program, how many hours and what the value is. And then,
Right.
and then we can give numbers to our interim town manager.
And again, we should have that in by the beginning of November
Yeah,
That's
so we should have this as a repeat on the agenda
for
for
sometime in,
September, well,
well, no.
November 1st.
Yeah.
Well, let's give ourselves a break. We're not gonna know on November 1st.
Oh, November, in November, we'll discuss the,
That's just such
Senior
joyful,
workout.
optimistic thinking. I can't do that. Maybe mid-November,
How many
if we're
people do we
lucky.
have in the work-off program? Do we know?
Probably December.
You know right now, the work,
that I don't know.
That we don't know, that's why
That
we
was
can't really
before my
estimate it.
time,
because
well,
now we can go
Yeah.
up to 2,000, it's
Yeah.
increased. It used
For
to be
the amount of
50.
workout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It used to be
is
1,500.
it 1,500?
It was, I believe.
Is that what
went
it,
up.
is that,
It's according to the state minimum wage now, I guess.
okay. So it's 15?
So per, up to 1,500.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll bet you nickel it went up to 2,000, but I'll check.
Later.
I know, just moving on. I could win the nickel and she would never pay me. She'd find an excuse.
We're doing good,
If we have to look it up, right now it's the next
we're
meeting.
moving
next
along, which is great.
Yeah,
All right.
Sarah's doing great, Sarah.
yeah, keep going.
Now, you had a question about how deferrals work with the surplus.
Yeah, which pocket does it come out of? Because what happens is if someone's, let's just say their taxes are
I
6,000.
love that you think I have the answer to that.
I've known you for so long now. You have a lot of answers.
I do not know how that works.
Okay,
We do the deferrals, and so I would assume if we are doing a deferral that is related to our property taxes, that is stuff we need to put in the overlay.
right.
Because we're, the town of Lunenburg, except for this,
Yeah.
the part that the state covers, Is-
Exemptions come out of the overlay.
yeah, but the part that the state covers, that we will get back, but I think we still have to front it before it comes back.
Okay.
And a deferral itself,
The state doesn't cover anything in that.
the state doesn't cover it, and my understanding of some of these deferrals is it's a loan.
It's essentially, it's a lien on their house.
Yeah.
And what they're doing is you meet the criteria, and it's changed dramatically. It's now going over to the.
Okay, let's just talk about the amount.
Okay. the
And where it
amount-
comes from.
The amount I'm guessing, is that these people will be not paying the town. So they'll be creating an IOU to the town.
Yes.
The town, as part of that process, is then placing a lien on their property each year
Mm-hmm.
for the value of what they took. When the state, everybody's in the program automatically, the state passed that. But now they've come back and said, you can go, each town has the right to declare what they want for their own interest rates. I've contacted the town of Woburn as well as the town of Plymouth, and they're running 6 or 4%, depending on what's happening. It's not a big number. I think Plymouth has 10, Woburn has 2 or 3, but most of them don't know about the change that's with regard to the circuit breaker. The circuit breaker now allows you to earn, I think, like $108,000.
Yes, but that's not where the
So
money
we'll have a
comes from.
higher level of participation that we're not directly receiving. The town, it's up to the town if they
Yeah,
want to sell a note.
That's
but-
true. The circuit breaker's another thing, but if we are, I think remember how this whole thing works. We assess the properties within 10% of their value,
Right,
right? And we adjust things to that. Then the levy, based on what the values of these homes are,
Right,
gets added together, and our town can choose to increase it 2.5% or not.
right.
If we are taking people and taking certain homes and saying, we are not gonna collect on that right now.
We're still gonna tax them.
Well, we're taxing, they're gonna get the bill.
Mm-hmm.
But for a while, that money is not going to come into us, right?
Unless the money, we will not receive a check from
Yes.
those individuals.
But we will be holding,
We'll be
we're
holding
putting a
it.
lien,
Right.
and we're not getting money from them for a while.
That's correct.
So
Unless
that-
we decide to go ahead and sell the note to
Right,
somebody
right.
else for
But-
whatever percent. we
But
want.
let's say this takes time in town to do those things that you're
Yeah, it takes a
mentioning.
year.
So in that time that we are not actively collecting that money, that means the actual incoming money to the town is less. So I would guess that that has to be in our overlay surplus.
I would have to find that out. I don't
Yeah.
know.
So I have another agenda item for you.
There you go.
How
Yeah.
the 41A,
But I'm guessing, I would guess that we would have to cover that.
We would have to,
until
there's other
the-
accounts
yeah.
in the town that we can use to tap. If
I-
we decide that we wanna let it,
I don't know that. I don't know
we have
what,
free cash all over the place.
well, yes, but the town manager allocates free cash, we do not.
Yeah,
So if we're gonna propose that we're gonna reduce the amount that's coming in, we have to have a discussion about who holds that.
Yeah, which kitty is it gonna come
Yes,
out, right?
yeah, I know we have some free cash and stuff, but
Right,
that is
and-
also often allocated to a lot of other areas.
Oh, I hear, especially every so often my favorite schools and things like that, they need the cash
Yeah,
every so often, so.
So
and then
I'm
there's
glad.
interest too,
I'm-
right?
yeah.
Interest, isn't there like 8% interest?
Yeah, so that would eventually come back in. So, going, before this gets put as an option before the town, I do think we need to know what the process will be for holding that money.
That's a town function, right? Determining, managing how
Yes.
they wanna do that. With regard to the.
But if we want it to get passed,
Oh,
we need to know how that is going to work.
can-
And when the money comes back with that 8%, if it comes back with that 8%, where do those funds get directed?
Yeah, I can virtually guarantee you, where the town is not, there's no real money being spent by the town. It's just being deferred and accumulated, that being the note. So what'll happen
But
is
it is-
we're offering,
It is being spent in that it's not being collected, which means that number that goes to the budget annually will be smaller.
that's if you assume, when your balance sheet, you don't reflect that money sitting on the other side as earning you interest. If you show it as an interest earned income, that's a P&L difference between
Well,
the cash flow
but
differences.
it's an unrealized gain. You are holding it for a while. You are not getting the tax dollars in
Right.
because we're not collecting it because we've deferred. So there will be a shortage in that year when it starts.
And you can,
And maybe at some point we will get interest on it, but it still is gonna lower that number that we are able to collect.
the available
In that
cash
particular
for your
year.
flow,
We're talking the budget year that occurs.
right?
And there's also a long-term aspect where we will potentially yield more money and that will come into the budget somewhere. But it won't be in that first
Right.
year when it's happening. It might be the second year, it might be the third year, it might be the fourth year, it might be when that deference,
Or when they die or leave or
yeah.
whatever.
And the property presumably gets sold or something like that. That could come into the town as income. But in the meantime,
It's deferred income,
it's deferred income, but it's not income
right?
in that particular year for
it's cash
using
flow.
for but
it
it's
would be-
not there's a short term. There's like, let's say I know I'm taking $1,000 and I'm putting it in my
Or
401k.
CD or whatever, okay?
Okay, that means I have $1,000 left to use this year. But in 10 years, I might have $10,000. But in the meantime, I have to operate with $1,000 less. That's got to come from somewhere. That's what I'm saying.
It always
And
has to
I
come.
want us to know that that is going to be a reduction in the amount we are taking in,
Mm-hmm.
and have like an approximate percentage of what that is.
Okay.
And I think we're getting in the weeds because you're
Uh-huh.
asking where it comes from, and she's going to look that up.
We're gonna look that up. But I also want to point out, it's a state law. Anybody can come in, and right now.
Absolutely.
Right now, and
But
charge
that's a
8%.
different discussion.
Oh, I know.
We're not
Is the-
debating that that's a
Do we,
legal
do
thing
we
to
hack
do.
up the overlay, and is the overlay available for that kind of a
So
film where
that is the question.
yeah, and it's not an exemption.
I do think we have other issues that are kind of
Yes,
pressing,
yes.
that we really need to focus on for town meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I think we should
Oh,
focus on
okay.
those.
So-
Just because we have a time crunch.
If we're talking about this, right, we can change anything we want. We can collapse it at the last moment of the town meeting. We can make modifications on the floor. What we need to do right now is to get in the queue, and get in the queue with something that resembles that piece.
So
We can withdraw
wait,
it anytime we
But we're
want.
on the review of the overlay surplus, okay?
Okay.
And we have just gotten the review of that overlay surplus. There's a question about what accounts this comes from, if there's an exemption,
Okay.
and she's gonna look that up.
Okay, so then we'll get back to my deferral.
Are
I
you
thought
gonna
we-
address that for town meeting? Because I only told the town manager there was only gonna be 2 today, because
There's gonna be a total of four requests. You've gotta get,
I only have 2. I have 41D,
Yeah.
and I have
Yes.
17F.
you have 41A that I sent you. That's the deferral. And then you have the 17s, and that's 2 parts.
Okay, but the two that I got as a thing to review
Mm-hmm.
were 41D and 17F.
Yeah.
Then I got an email
Mm-hmm.
that I was copied on where you were asking about specifics related to other things, but those were not articles that you presented.
Okay, I believe that,
I think it's too much. I don't think we have time to do all those. I think we need to focus on the
I'll
other 2.
I'll disagree with you. I will
Okay.
disagree with you with
I
all,
But
in all due respect.
the
If
only
you-
ones I'm willing to work on finalizing right now are 41D and 17F, because those are the only things that I've seen text on.
41A. You've seen text, and it's in the law, and all we're doing is asking for that change, deferral modification in terms of the interest rates, reducing it from 8 to 6. On the other pieces, the verbiage is exactly what's in the law documents, and they gave us a chart of what to say and how to say it, and all I'm asking for right now is, because we're up against the wall, is that we say we would like to, and we approve it. We don't have to approve exactly all the wording. We can change that 14 ways Sunday, but we need to get something in there. Otherwise, we won't get the COLAs, and we won't get we get the deferral. It's just that we won't be able to make any changes to it, and we'll get stuck at 8%.
So I appreciate that you want to do those, but I only saw the text for the warrant article for 2. Did I miss something?
Okay.
Did you see anything else? Did you send anything
Adjustment
else?
amounts for the 17s. That's what it's called.
I'm gonna open my email.
Okay, go for it. And then you also have.
It's not that I don't want to do these things, it's that
Oh, I hear
I need to review them. And I appreciate that you want to put something in to hold a place, but I would like to know what it is before I'm agreeing
Okay.
to it.
Okay.
And I think we have until the 18th.
We
Is that
have a
correct?
deadline for the town manager to get the warrants in.
Yeah.
And at our finance meeting today, he had told me that he's gonna actually email me how he would like it worded.
Okay.
And
I got this back from the DO and I'll send you the note. Becky is saying they were fine. The DOR reviewed it. And essentially, there's no real change in any of the wording with the except
Can I see
reduced.
that?
Sure. We reduced the interest rates on that one. And then full cost. And if I have the folder with me, I can even show you exactly where the wording came out of.
So, yeah, actually, the only thing that I have text of is, sorry, not the 41D, I only have the 41A.
A, yeah.
That's
the
all I
deferral.
have.
You probably have another one. The 41A went out last week, and the
Okay.
41 went out,
The 17?
yeah, they call it the 17s, and then there's it's 3 parts to it. The 17s, and for that matter, where's the other page? I got another page. 41 clause, the 41 clause with regard to the COLA. Those are all COLAs. That's what I put one piece, and the deferral was in the other.
Okay, so I have 41A. I can see,
Do you have an extra copy of that, Jack?
I'll give you my copy.
Actually,
Wow, you don't read my emails.
I do.
I'll even send Becky's confirmation
There
over.
it is.
Just,
there it is.
do you
sorry.
have the version that you, the shorter version?
Of the
It's like-
41A?
Yeah, of what, that one that you have?
Okay, that's the
Because I know
deferral.
Carter's gonna want the shorter version, the one that you just
This-
showed me.
This, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, it has 17, 17C, 17C and a half, D, E, F, 41, 41B,
Right.
41C, and 41D.
It's a blanket
My
COLA.
apologies.
It's a
Yeah.
blanket COLA.
Yeah.
And, yeah, you can give him that, give him this one. And
Okay,
I'll
so
let
this
you
is-
have my
So
COLA,
that, this is the warrant, because he's gonna want this. Okay. so
and
that's
he's
the-
gonna want this too. Because these are the other, there's the other two.
The
When
only
he
one
went-
we had talked about so far in previous meetings was 41D
41A,
For,
and 41A. I thought.
41A.
we
That's the deferral.
talked about 41C, the issue with 41C.
Yeah,
That's the
And we're
COLA.
we're going to try to adopt 41D to incorporate the COLA.
yes.
Right,
And then we briefly talked about 17D,
right, even though we don't use it.
even though we don't have any.
Right.
Yes.
And we've never had, by the way, in a deferral, we've never had.
So,
one.
so
Maybe
41C
15.
is the one we're having an issue with right
Yeah.
now because it never, do you want to
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
that
So
right
let me-
now?
Did you steal my statement?
That
I
will
did.
help.
Do you have an
because
extra copy?
No,
of
no,
this?
there was a there was
We're
a.
going to 41D because of 40,
Yeah.
the 41C being,
So,
Right, right, right.
I guess I'm gonna start with the background.
yes.
So on the first day that I started in March, I had a document that was on the wall for 41C that had
It was
Yes.
wrong.
income and asset limits. And we have there's a DLS data bank that had some state limits. And one day, we just happened to check what the limits were, because we were gonna make a chart for the elderly when they came in, and the numbers weren't matching up. So Rita and I tried to find out where these numbers came from, and what they currently are for the 41C is 31.5 for a single person for income, married person 39.6. Assets, they can't be more than 52.7, and married persons, they cannot exceed 72.7.
Right.
So what we found after going through the annual reports was the last adoption of the 41C was on May 6th of 2006. That town meeting, the income adjustments for single persons were adjusted to 24,000 for single persons and married couples to 30. And the asset limits for single persons were adjusted to 40,000 and married couples to 55,000.
Yeah.
And at that particular time, the amount of the abatement was raised from 600 to 750. In May of this year, at our town meeting, for the 41C, the age was decreased to 60, from 70 to 65, and the reimbursement amount was up to 100% of the exemption,
Which should be 1,000.
which would be 1,000.
Which should be 1,000.
Yeah, and after that meeting, or around approximately the time in the meeting, you reported this.
Yeah.
I
So
recall that.
we
yeah.
found this, that there was a discrepancy.
Yes.
Right.
So we've done some investigation, we contacted the state, the lawyer of the day. We've done quite a bit of work because we want to make sure it's correct. And in 2024, we granted all of the people that applied for the 41C the amount where they've been granted in the past.
That was up on the wall
That was up on the wall.
from some unknown source and origin.
No controls.
We just
Yeah.
don't know where these numbers came
Yeah.
from, and we want to make sure it's correct.
Right.
So at this point, I sent an email to the town clerk to find out, based on this last Article 33 from May of 2006, to get the minutes, and to find out those statutes if they were adopted.
Yeah.
We can assume that that was the latest for
Yeah,
the
that
41C.
2006.
Yeah. We would like to adopt 41D and add the COLA to that.
Yep.
Yeah, the COLA's there.
So,
Can
and
I
then
make an
that-
argument? I'd like to make an argument, not that I'm trying to be argumentative.
This isn't an argument
Okay.
right now.
No, I know, no.
I just want to finish, let me
No,
just finish
Okay.
this.
Not yet.
Oh, no, Ms. Chairman, okay.
Just so I can go through and
Sure,
explain
go
this,
ahead.
so everybody knows. So, for 2024, we had 21 applicants that qualified for the 41C. And I just want to make it known that of these 21, based upon the numbers on this Article 33, 7 of these people would not qualify,
We'd throw them off.
based on this
They can't qualify based on
the Article 33.
the article
From,
that's proposed
from 2006
and was
Right.
accepted.
was accepted.
And something happened between then and when we went ahead, because we used the state published document out of the Data Analytics Research Bureau. And basically at that time, it was $750. And in town meeting, we raised that number.
So-
All I know
so
is that right
that's-
now, the town has approved this number. So regardless of whatever happened before, the
No.
town came in and said, yes, we want to do that because that would be consistent with all the other communities, more than
So
half the communities.
that's not the discussion.
I think
We
I'm not-
agree, and actually,
I
our
think we
town,
need to go by this Article 33, because this is, well,
that is what has been published.
This is
DL
published.
This is what the town agreed to. What DLS says, and what DLS has in here is technically incorrect for what the town has adopted by its
by the
its
annual
own
report.
annual report.
But I'm waiting on confirmation from the town clerk
Yeah.
on
The
that
town
this was
adopted
adopted.
Article 33 with new numbers
Yeah.
on May the 8th, 2024.
Well, not new numbers. New numbers
No.
weren't
Higher.
adopted on that
New
date.
percentage,
New
new
age
percentage,
Age went
age and
down.
percent,
Right.
but not what qualifies asset-wise
and income.
and income-wise. That's the issue. It's not
So-
the amount we want to
Mm-hmm.
to exempt people. It's that thing we voted on doesn't raise the amount of assets they're allowed to have and income they're allowed to
Yeah,
have.
because in this format, what are they saying now? What do they-
I'm waiting on confirmation from the town clerk at this point.
Okay.
So
But
we're,
there's nothing else that
I
says
don't
these
have
limits. Yeah.
anything else. So we're hoping if we can adopt 41D
Mm-hmm.
and add the COLA, whatever the state
Right.
COLA is, cost of living,
We'll-
maybe
we'll
we can
alleviate
get these
this.
7 people up to this amount
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
can qualify.
Because right now, they had to apply for 41C. And
Yeah.
if we actually enact 41D,
D.
with the COLA, their assets and their income will be counted,
Okay.
hopefully. And they'll be eligible with the COLA for
Right.
that 100% that we were going.
So I just need to
Right.
say this 41,
That's what
rather
we're
than 41C,
hoping.
say 41D. And then I can take that to, I'll send you
So,
that tonight.
for those of you at home, we are looking at a warrant article that Mr. Rabbit put together that is trying to alleviate this with adopting 41D, because that will include a cost of living adjustment and raise the amount of assets and income people are allowed to have and still qualify for that 100%.
If we do that.
That's correct.
Yeah.
We also have another one, which right now we don't have any applicants that have applied for the 17D. We were planning on addressing this.
Can we pause on 17D for a minute?
Yes.
Would you like to read this so people know and make a motion? Read.
Okay, adjust income and asset limits for clause 41. To vote, the town of Lunenburg to accept general laws, chapter 59, section 5, clause 41D, which authorizes an annual increase in the income of gross receipts and assets, whole estates limits for exemptions granted to senior citizens under general law 59, section 5, clause and this would be 41D, because we don't have it, and by the percentage increase in the U.S. Department of Labor Statistics Consumer Price Index for the previous year as determined by the Massachusetts Commissioner of Revenue to be effective for the exemptions granted any fiscal year beginning after July 1, 2025.
Now, I do have a question on that.
Yeah?
Is the age limit already 65 for 41D?
Um,
Because if not, we should make sure that that gets into
Yeah,
the
I
article.
don't know what with 41D was. 41D wasn't even listed under the DLS, so this 41D's got to be new.
yeah, we'll have to,
Because what we did with 41C is we took it from 70 to 65.
Right.
If 41D is still at 70, we want to
Wanna
make sure
change
it's
that.
at the age
Right.
of 65.
Right.
So we might want to alter that to say
To say the six,
commencing at age 65.
okay.
and do we also want to mention the amount? That
Yes.
it's also 100% of the amount, the reimbursement amount as
How
well?
much is the reimbursement?
Well,
Sorry, I don't remember.
it was,
There's so many of these.
I know. I think well, it's up to 1,000. It says 750 on this list, but I just want to see the amount on this Article 33. So it was 750 on Article 33.
Okay,
So
So-
it'll be
we will,
1,000.
so
It'll be
we will
raised up
want to
to-
say,
raised.
can I look at this?
Sure.
Maybe. The amount of the exemption
Would be $1,000.
shall be $1,000?
It
Yeah.
should be 1,000
Right. That's what we approved. That was 100%
Yeah.
of what was
And-
allowed by the
of the,
state.
Citizens will be eligible at age 65.
Right.
and you know what it says? And this was voted in May, and further to adjust the income and asset limits according to the statute. That's what it was voted in May.
Yeah. And I think the statutes were the right
Okay, so,
numbers.
so you're saying it should be, hang on. The age of the exemption shall start at age 65. And the amount of reimbursement
Be based on Article 33.
amount shall be based on Article 33 of the May 6th,
2006 town meeting.
May 6, 2006 annual town meeting.
Which I still need to confirm with the town clerk,
Okay.
that it was adopted.
It was-
The reimbursement,
Well, that came from Kathy.
Well, this came from an annual report, I just want to confirm that.
Oh, that came from the annual
This,
report?
this came,
Oh, this
well, this
one.
came from the town clerk, but I want to
Yeah.
confirm that this was adopted, but this came.
Oh, okay.
I'm
I just-
assuming it did, but I want to confirm that.
Right. Hey, and this, while you're confirming, I printed off the DLS analytics report on 8/25 a week ago, and it still didn't show the changes in age. It didn't show any of the changes that we had voted last year. And so,
hang on, I know you're ready to move on, but I want to make sure I got
Okay.
the wording right.
Yeah.
The age of the exemption shall start at age 65 and the amount of reimbursement shall be based on Article 33 of May 6th annual town meeting and shall be up to 100% of the exemption.
I'll second it.
Well, if you want to say $1,000.
And shall be up to $1,000?
Yeah, 100% of
So-
them. Well, we don't even know.
So the
if-
reimbursement amount shall be
100%.
100% of the exemption,
Right,
up to $1,000?
yeah. I think that's right. The thing is,
Okay, so hang on. Do we need to reference Article 33 then?
I would reference Article 33 for the
Because-
income and asset limitations. That's what I would reference that for,
okay.
because
I
that's
don't
what
think you can
we,
get in trouble by putting.
that's what we
more.
need to
But,
reference that.
so what's an issue for me is it only goes up to $750
Yeah,
here.
but this supersedes the,
Okay, so
the
the age
amount.
exemption shall start at age 65, and the amount of reimbursement shall be based on Article 33 of May 6th.
this is
The
from
amount
anyway,
of reimbursement,
That's very confusing the way that's worded, isn't
yeah,
it?
yes. The age of the exemption shall start at age 65.
It almost sounds like you're doubling the 750, the way that's worded.
Yeah, so the age of the exemption shall start at 65. Income and assets will be based on no, we don't want to say it's based on that Article 33, because what we're trying to do here is make it based on 41D COLAs from the state,
We're all,
right?
Well,
That's what we're going for
we-
here, so we
we-
don't want to go back to this.
But we have to base it on income and asset limitations, but we want to add COLA also to it.
But
we need to take-
we're accepting 41D,
We want to accept 41D.
yes.
Yeah,
We just want to make sure that our 41D language for the amount of the exemption is the same as it's $1,000 from 41C.
yeah,
We're already, we're adopting 41D. This one is about 41C. And May 6, 2006 is about 41C. We're adopting 41D, not 41C.
so if we create 41D, what income and asset limitations do we have to go by?
The ones the state is doing with the COLA, right?
yeah,
So what numbers would those be? Because would we have
The
to
state
go?
does not publish them.
I don't
Not
even
yet.
know what those numbers
I
would
haven't
be.
seen it, but.
That's the issue,
I was
is
under
that-
the impression that, okay, you're gonna have 41C, and the 41D was primarily just the COLA.
To add COLA
Just
only.
add COLA.
Okay,
So it's an add-on.
So
So-
what you're saying is we need some clause that says, we're gonna take the approved upon 41C asset and income allocations and add COLA to it.
Exactly, yeah.
As a state, okay.
Yep.
I'm sorry it took me so long.
No,
No.
it's, do you see why it's been confusing for
Yes.
us? Because
So the
we're,
age of the
I
exemption
have
shall
talked
start
to
at 65.
Becky twice,
If-
and you saw both my communications in terms of, okay, is it an add-on, or is it separate? What we're kind of
Income
doing is
and
putting them together, is that, I guess,
Assets,
it's 41D now.
and Rena and I have
income
had
and asset eligibility
conversations with Jim Crowley, who's with the state, and we've talked to another
Will
lawyer of the day.
be
We've had
Yeah,
several conversations trying to
Based
figure all this
on
out.
what this really means.
Yeah, it's been
Oh, it's
very-
complicated as all hell.
In addition
33
to have this, trying to figure out where this came
of the
from.
May 6th,
Which one is that?
This is on the wall.
2006
I can't even see
meeting,
that. I got the wrong glasses on.
plus COLA as described by the state,
This, yeah,
under what, 59 dash 541D?
41D, yeah, let me see if I have anything like that.
Okay.
Actually, Jack, that's my only
It is,
copy
it is
of that.
clause, he references
Just
it
don't
as,
give it to her.
No,
That's what
but,
she keeps
but don't
everything.
lose that 2006 annual report. My
I keep
artic-
everything or you keep
My
everything?
Article 33, please don't lose that, because that's
Okay, I'm gonna give you that.
my only
Give you
copy of that.
back- Yeah, there you go, girl.
This is my Bible here.
Yeah.
I can't lose that.
I know.
See why our head spins with all this
This is so
stuff?
much paper.
Let me see if I have anything in the.
Hey, Brian owes us on this
See,
one.
Brian's missing out on all this
Yeah, he owes
fun.
us on this one.
So,
You know what, I got fuel because we're not doing abatements right now. We can get this written. Okay, so the age of the exemption shall start at 65. Income and asset eligibility will be based on Article 3 of the May 6, 2006
Actually, I found something
Annual
here.
town meeting, wait, wait,
I'll let you finish that, but I
town
found-
meeting
I found something.
with COLA as determined by the MGL Chapter 59, Section 541D.
I found the
clause.
answer to your question. So this is in the,
Which question?
Yeah.
this is in
I
the,
have
Where
many
does the money
questions.
come
this is in the Property Tax Bureau, IGR
Right.
release. And it explains what the 41C and the 41D. And that was the 41C exemption options, and it talks about if you opt for the 41D. You see?
I gotta read.
If you do the, if you have the
I
41D.
can't read and listen at the same time.
Is 41D the complete law, or is it just the COLA piece that's added in and
That's the
plugged in?
COLA. It says
Yeah,
it,
that's what I thought.
it says it right down that
Yeah,
paragraph.
it's just COLA, so you
Yeah.
gotta incorporate both of them together,
Yeah.
piggyback one on the other. Yeah, you can't,
Okay, so basically, we're gonna add COLA from 2006 on.
Yeah, that's what that's kind of a good description there.
Yes. So, do we know all the COLAs from 2006
We,
to what these
Oh, I don't
values
know.
will
Well,
be?
I don't know. Do we have to add up?
That's
yeah.
what we're saying we're gonna do.
Is that how that's worded? Because
Well,
I don't know how we would
it's-
figure that out.
The gross receipt limits that apply to the applicant may be increased to any amount up to 20,000 if single and 30,000 if married. The current limit is 13,000 if the applicant is single and 15,000 if married. There's stuff about spouses and that stuff. In communities that also accept GL 5941D, which provides for an annual cost of living adjustment. So yeah, 2006,
Yes.
whatever that value is, whatever the COLA was at the
and
time,
it's a multiple add,
We-
multiple add.
it's like calculating interest
Yeah,
on your bank account. You know, if you have $100 and you get 10%, next year it's 110. And then 110 times, let's say the interest rate is 4.5.
121.
Yeah, we gotta do that.
So we would have to
So
take.
that is 18 years of COLA.
That's easy, isn't it? Excel, quick.
We
So-
can do it, but I don't know what the COLA
We
is
don't
from,
what that number is.
for
yeah.
each year from 2006 to now.
So we would have to take that. So for example, if we had a single person, we would take the 24,000 and then add the COLA from 2006 to 24
Well, you
for every
can't,
year.
we have to do 2006, what was the value? Now 2007, what's the value? Multiply the value of 2007 times whatever the COLA is to
Yeah.
adjust to 2008. Yeah,
And keep adding that.
yes.
Right.
It's not that hard to get that number. What's harder for me to understand where to get is what the COLA was from 2006, what the COLA is 2007, 2008. I imagine we would use the federal government or the state
Well, the
government,
state,
whatever.
they have the state, they reference
must
it.
have
They
that
must have a
published
table
somewhere.
somewhere.
It's, the state's about half of what the feds say.
But that leaves us not knowing how much that total amount is gonna be right now.
Right.
And how many, you know,
And you have two totals to add. It's not just, the
Yeah.
income, it's the
Yeah.
assets too.
yeah.
And the assets probably,
So
the
we
limits.
need to
would-
get that information.
Yeah, Rena and I work on that. What does it say for the assets for the for that description on the?
For assets here, gross receipts are $20,000.
It's income for a single, married at some.
And the whole estate limit is 40,000 if single and 55,000 if married.
Yeah,
Here's my sheet.
This is yours.
Oh no, I mean my initial sheet from 2006. I want to see what that
Okay, but
because we have to go by. So our asset was. So the asset limit for a single person was 40,000 back then. So we would have to apply the COLA to 40, start off at 40,000 for the asset.
right.
the whole estate.
Yeah, and apply.
So that's actually written here already.
Right, on how to,
Yeah.
okay.
So I guess I kind of want to see what that number is
Okay, we'll have to
for
see if we can
for
find out.
40,000 and 55,000. if married, that's what we're starting from, and then we've got. for
And I
each
agree,
year.
we want to see the number,
Yeah.
but I need to get in the queue.
We also need to have confirmation from Kathy though,
We do.
well,
So what we can do is we can, and, you know, I think what you mean by the queue is get this into the warrant.
Right.
We could always say, no, we don't.
We don't want to
We
do
need
it,
to
or we
pass
can
over
change
this,
any numbers,
or
because we're
we
the
can change the
originators.
numbers.
And we have
Yeah.
done that in the past, a lot, you know, so.
So right now, the age of exemption shall start at 65. Income and asset eligibility will based on Article 33 of the May 6, 2006 annual town meeting with COLA as determined by MGL Chapter 59, Section 541D laws. The total exemption to be granted is $1,000. We want to say that, right?
Yeah.
It's up to $1,000.
Up to $1,000, or 100% of whatever that is. If it went over
Well,
above 1,000,
The chapter, but right now, 41D
yeah,
is only $750.
it's still only 750.
Yes, because what we voted on was 41C.
I did want to make a comment because this is something that might be addressed as far as reimbursement. We currently are only reimbursed for $502 on the 41C.
Right.
So it does say that the communities that vote to make adjustments that result in more higher exemptions than previously granted will not receive any additional state reimbursement.
Yes,
Right.
it's all out of our overlay pocket.
Yeah, so I just want to mention that as
Yeah.
well because that probably will come up.
And that's for the town, when we made the argument of the town, we basically said, okay, you're paying right now, the town's paying $250, the state's giving you $500. And we made the argument that says, look, we're looking for another $250, and if you divide it among everybody in the town, it's less than a half a cup of coffee. Remember that?
Of course I do, because there was a comment about not equating it to a cup of
Coffee.
coffee at a Board of Select meeting.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
I'm sorry, a Select Board meeting,
Yeah.
not a boss meeting anymore, SB. Okay. Okay, so this is where we are on 41D.
Okay, can you read that?
Yes.
Okay.
So here's what we're proposing for our adjusted income and asset limits, and can we say for clause 41D?
Sure.
Vote that the town of Lunenburg to accept general laws, chapter 59, section 5D, clause 41D, which authorizes an annual increase in the income, gross receipts, and asset whole estate limits for exemptions granted to seniors under general laws, chapter 59, section 5. Can I rewrite this?
Yeah, as long as you get, as long as you can say, as long as we vote say yes tonight, I don't care. I just want to make sure.
That the town of Lunenburg vote.
Oh, by
that
the way,
town
that
of
word
Lunenburg-
is out of the state. That's state wording.
I know,
didn't change it.
except that we've
We've
written the stuff at the
We've
bottom
created a hybrid.
that changes the stuff, like what we need to write at the top. It's gonna be redundant now.
The lawyers
So,
will clean this up for us. and
vote
bring
that
it
the
back.
town of Lunenburg accept general laws, chapter 59, section 5, clause 41D, which authorizes an annual increase in the income and asset limits for exemptions granted to senior citizens under general laws, chapter 59, section 5. Insert the clause. The age of the exemption shall start at 65. Income and asset eligibility will be based on Article 33 of the May 6, 2006 annual town meeting, with COLA is determined by the percentage increase in the U.S. Department of Labor, Bureau of Statistics Consumer Price Index for the previous year as determined by the Massachusetts Commissioner of Revenue to be effective for exemptions granted for any fiscal year beginning on or after July 25th, and the total exemption to be granted is up to $1,000. Does that sound
That
like
does
what we
sound
want to
good.
do? Okay,
No,
so
even though we
yeah.
haven't adopted that, we still need to go back to 2006 to figure that out. That was my next question.
Okay.
We still have to go back to 2006, even though it hasn't been adopted for the COLA.
So you want me to go back to 2000?
No, I'm just asking, even though we haven't adopted 41D, we still would need to go back
Yeah, let's do
to
it.
2006 to,
That's an easy calculation. It's just that it's not linear
Yeah.
when you go from a single person
If we're
to
referencing
a
2006.
married person.
okay,
It goes 20,000 and 30,000.
just questioning that.
Yeah,
Because that's gonna be quite a bit,
that's a lot of increase.
yeah.
What is it? What
I-
is it in other towns for that 41D?
We'd have to find, I can
Yeah.
call around and see who else has 41D.
Yeah, I never
What
asked
we
the
should
question.
do is we should, at our 18th meeting, really compare this number that you're gonna generate
Yeah.
with the COLA for every single year, and whatever other towns who have this have as their current asset and income limits. Because presumably somebody's been doing COLA with that.
Because that could be like 5,000 every year, so
Yeah,
that's a lot.
that's
of
a
money.
lot of money. That's,
I mean, it
that
just,
could be, that could be,
5,000 on a
I
20,000?
mean, if you, that just seems like,
5% is
it is 18 years of,
that just seems like it might be too much money.
Yeah, well, let's
That's-
check it. We can.
we need to see the numbers.
Yeah.
And then we need to see what's reasonable.
Okay. I'm just only got 2.5 days left.
Well, my only concern is that if, I mean, maybe somebody was adding COLA to that 41C automatically, I don't know. And maybe,
Well,
they-
what's interesting is that 41C value matches that paper you handed to me of the 40,000 and the 55,
Right, 55.
well,
which was what was up on the wall, right?
No, there was an earlier
No.
one that was.
no, that.
Never mind. I didn't mention the wall. Let's forget about that.
This is what what
No,
any.
It's giving me a headache.
State is thinking this is what we got
You know
right
what's kind
now.
of odd is that there is an FY22 exempt amount on this sheet.
Yeah.
Exempt amount from income allowed, 49, single is $4,911 and married is 7,000. Well, that's what the exempt
Yeah.
amount is, 7,367.
So
So,
I think we're going to adopt this article as it is right now with the understanding that, well, we have to vote to adopt it, but with the understanding that we're probably going to have to take a look at those numbers and
Oh,
decide
we
if-
absolutely.
and
yeah.
actually really think about, if it is a huge amount, is that really a reasonable exemption that the town can absorb or not?
Yeah.
If it's not, then we have to look at what is a reasonable
Right.
amount
And we
of
look at what other
income.
towns are doing too, like you're saying.
And I don't actually know what that would be.
Yeah.
I would like to see what other towns are doing for 41D to feel that we are doing right by our seniors and also right by the town.
Yeah, we want to be
We're
accurate.
one and the same. We want it, and
wanna be
I
accurate.
really want it to see what other towns have for that 41D exemption, because I think you have some numbers there, but based on what we saw on our wall and what we've been doing, I'm not sure that DLS thing is that
This was on
accurate.
your wall. I think this was on
no,
your
that
wall.
wasn't,
Even before that?
And I brought up the wall again. I gotta stop
Okay.
doing that.
this was on the wall, but when I referenced the DLS data bank,
Yeah.
that's when I
That's
got
what came
concerned
up.
because that has all the towns.
Mm-hmm.
But even other towns don't match up with that.
Right.
So I think what happens
And
is
yours on the wall is higher?
it's much higher than what's the DLS data
So-
bank.
Maybe we can look
What's
at,
the date on that one?
look at our surrounding towns, Groton, Littleton,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, I think I have a list of
and,
that.
and see what their
I have a list of that somewhere.
community value, their income and asset values are.
I did that.
You did that already.
I did.
Linda, there's no 41 here. Oh, there's 4, okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, but this is 41C.
Yeah.
It's not the 41D with the
Yeah.
COLA.
Yeah, I didn't do 41D. We
So,
have to see, I guess,
I want to see the 41D numbers.
okay, we'll have to see, maybe I could check with Becky Boucher.
Yeah.
And maybe she knows.
Because
who
our
has-
41C numbers seem They seem to be that 40,000, the 41C are the 40,000, 55,000.
Yeah,
But it doesn't tell me what 41D is.
yeah.
Right.
Well, the only concern is that we only have so much time to get this done for town meetings, so.
I know.
Sue, would you like a copy?
So
And
if Becky knows,
She actually has one,
if Becky knows and can share it, that will
That
save
would
us a
help.
lot.
and we've been going around in circles with this for
I know.
a couple months now.
I know.
So we have to kind of wrap it up.
I would move as
That's the
so
problem.
read.
Agree. I
have
just
to-
don't want to not know what that value is.
Yeah,
Now, do you want me to
So
type that up
do we
for you?
want to type this up? I
I
think
can type that up
I
tomorrow.
think we accept this.
Take a picture. I'll take a picture and send it to you. But I'll type it up.
Can you read this chicken scratch? Because we're going from here,
Yeah?
then we're reading.
Oh, God.
do you want me to type it up?
Yeah, if you'd like, I don't
Or
mind.
if you wanted to, it's up to you.
No, it's just that you're gonna end up, well, you have the electronic stuff of what I sent you, so all you have to do is just pull that
Okay.
up and add that.
Here's what this means. We start here. We put the age, blah, 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 and then right after this, we read this important section that instead of going on about COLA, we have annual town meeting increasing by the percentage increase in the U.S. Department of Labor, which is the COLA. And then we finish with the total exemption to be granted is up to $1,000.
Okay, where does this go right here? This goes right here.
So this goes here. We read this part, and then, you know what, I should probably type it up. This line, and then this, right after town meeting, by the percentage increase. You read that line, and then the last part goes. I'll write it out.
You sure?
And we will vote now to accept that.
Motion?
So move that we accept this glorious
So
document.
motion to accept the adjusted income and asset limits for clause 41D as amended today.
So moved.
And,
All those in
seconded.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous, all right.
With the caveat that we might need to
No,
change those
we're
numbers.
gonna. That's enough. Okay, now, did we get a vote on my favorite deferral? Did we vote on that?
No, we haven't talked about that
We
yet.
need to
We've
talk
been here
about
long
that.
enough.
You're doing your due diligence.
We're trying to get it all straight.
Sorry to keep you up.
Yeah,
No.
thank you for coming.
Okay, thanks for having me.
Well, Sue, thank you so
Have a good
much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Give Pete a hug
Thank
for
you
us.
too.
Hey, when did you get that Volvo?
I work hard.
Really?
So, has this been the annual interest rate of accrual as typical, the 6%?
Yes, yes. In fact, some towns are lower than that. I chose 6 only because it seems to match what is the current rate with regard to what the interest rates on mortgages are. If you were to do a reverse mortgage, it's a higher number. And so we're trying to, we can make money on 6%. The town will make money on 6%. And then if this town doesn't want to do that, I'm sure I can get a pile of us that'll say, yeah, we'll buy that note for 6%, you know?
So I think I'm okay with this as it's written, except we could get rid of that, for example, seniors, disabled veterans, blind persons, or surviving spouses.
Only, well, it is, they put that in there only
They do.
because it doesn't apply to everything. And I had to call Becky up today and said, Becky, you told me earlier that the blind folks don't qualify for that. And she goes, if they're approved under a regular exemption, then yes, you can defer it. But you can't just come back and do deferral and say, oh, I'm blind too, and let me take that. She goes,
No, I
yeah,
see, you have to pick.
you have to fix it. So that's the reason why it's in there.
Have you seen this?
I see, is that the same thing as this article?
You have a copy of that.
This is the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. We're gonna have to let Carter know about this because he was asking about these too.
Oh, yeah, you want to tell them. We want to be open. But I
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
want to get, we as an independent board can,
Yeah.
just, we can pull it out.
No,
and-
we can do, this is in our venue.
Yes,
or he can, sorry, Carter, he can be unhappy about it, but we can still do it.
Yeah, we're not.
No, I didn't mention that today,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
he just didn't know about it.
He didn't know, I only
Didn't know
mentioned it
about
too.
it.
Yeah, he didn't.
Because I only had in my head
That was my
41D
fault.
and
Yeah.
something else.
Right.
I
I
had
did
the
too.
same thing and I don't really know why.
Yeah.
So,
I only had the
This is
41G and the 17.
So, I would motion that we have oh, no, you have to.
no. you
Okay, I would
can-
motion
you
we
can-
accept the.
Are we gonna do the 17? Are we not doing the 17 at this point for the town meeting?
No, I think we will do 17, but we're on the 41s right now.
Okay,
So let's
right.
just get the 41s.
finish the 41, okay.
I move we accept the property tax exemption clause 41A and that
It's a deferral.
deferral.
A
And the
deferral.
town of Lunenburg to accept the modification consistent with general laws, chapter 59, section 5, MGL 59, subsection 5, to authorize an annual interest rate accrual of 6% on deferred funds. The amendment will be applicable to taxpayers who qualify for personal exemptions under clauses MGL 59, subsection 5. For example, seniors, disabled folks, blind persons, or surviving spouses.
Second.
All those in favor? Oh, you gotta say that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
And like I said, I have a person who is very interested, and we will start a
Okay.
pilot effort to
So-
find out where we're gonna get in trouble. And yes, we will find out where the money comes from to supplement that, but
Okay. All right, so we got 41A and 41D, and we have the 17s.
Yep.
well, 17s have two pieces to it, don't they?
Well, I think we're looking at the 17F, which would incorporate
E and F,
the
right?
COLA, and on the wall, which we
Yeah.
don't know where that came from, we
Right.
have a 17D with an exemption amount of 332 with there's no income limitation, only asset, and that cannot be more than 66,000. But in Article 23 from May 9th of 1998, that the amount of the exemption was increased from $180 to $185, but I don't have any asset
Right.
amount,
We have
so.
E and F, and D was something that was a hangover.
So F is, so I'm having trouble with the writing of this one because
Okay.
A is adjusted exemption amount for clause 17S, but then the vote is to ask to accept 17F, but then it refers to clause 17D, and then it talks about 17F again. So for example, adjusted exemption
Yeah.
amount for clause 17S. To ask the town of Lunenburg to accept general law, chapter 59, clause 5, clause 17F.
Right, I thought that was a bolt-on.
Which authorizes an annual increase in the amount of exemption granted to seniors, surviving spouses, and surviving minors under general law, chapter 59, section 5, clause 17D. But it should say 17F.
F or E, I'm not sure.
So
I know. Okay.
so on this one, I don't know what we're going for. So I don't know, I
Okay,
just don't know how to do it, because it's unclear to me.
What does it say on that DLS?
it's not,
Does
we're
it
gonna
say
have
anything
it.
on that chart
All you've
here?
got is 40, you got 17D,
Let me just see on this.
17D, and nothing else. There's no E or F. But the main document was 17D, I thought. There's other 17s, but
Do we have 17s adopted at all, anywhere?
yes, Lunenburg did adopt 17D back in 1986.
Okay.
Okay. And I only see one update for the amount, the increase in exemption, but I don't see any change in the amount of the assets.
Yeah, I've not seen a 17D. Now, my tenure is real short, but have you?
We don't have any applicants
Yeah, I've
Oh,
never seen
since
a
I've been
come
here,
in.
there
But-
wasn't.
So my issue there is I just don't, I'm confused when I read the article. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
that's-
don't know what I'm doing.
Okay, that's
I don't
okay.
know what it's trying to do.
In some cases, yeah, I just pulled it right out of that back section.
Okay.
That they recommended the wording. If we're not running 17Ds, and I really don't know what's involved in terms of what benefits of, I thought 41 replaced 17, but Linda, did 17 get replaced by 41?
No,
It's
They're
a whole
different,
separate.
right?
they're different.
Yeah.
One, the 41 is income and asset based, and the 17s has no income, only asset.
Oh,
So that's the difference. But I'm just looking through some of the old
Yeah.
stuff that I pulled from the annual reports just to see if I can find anything, because other than this information that is on the wall, which shows
17D,
this is the only thing that I could
surviving
find.
spouse over 70.
I don't
That's
have a lot of
41.
information on it.
Assets cannot be more, on 17B, can't be more than 66,000, assets including checking, savings accounts, and recreational vehicles. Didn't say anything about houses.
Yeah. So I think.
And let's see what it says. So 41.
I wonder if
And the total amount was
some people who don't
$350.
qualify for 41C might qualify for clause 17D. Because I like, that
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
66.
yeah, so they might get this they might be eligible for this.
So I
But since they've been eligible for the other one before, they might have applied for that one because this is only that much.
yeah.
Right.
You're allowed to 66,000 would include the checking, savings account, stocks, bonds, 401ks, IRAs, and recreational vehicles. You're not owning a
I did
house.
find the IGA on this, so let's see, on the
You're not owning a
17s.
house.
It's an apartment, but then they wouldn't even have property.
And,
It's-
and you must own and occupy the property it must be over 70 and lived in Massachusetts for preceding prior 10 years and owned the property for 5. And that's for the surviving.
Oh, no, the homes, that's second homes.
Increase.
The
second
the
home.
assets include checking and savings, stocks, bonds, 401ks, IRAs, RVs, and second homes. But I don't
Oh,
think
homes,
it accounts the original
doesn't even say
home.
second home. Oh, you're right, second homes.
I don't think it
Etc.
accounts for the one that they're living
primary
in, the
residence.
primary.
Yeah,
So,
So it does talk about the local option here of 17F, and let's see what it says, which has the COLA.
yeah.
Um,
And that's what it's gonna be
Adjusted
focusing on.
asset limit. The COLA increases the asset limit only in those communities that have adopted General Law 59, Section 5, Clause 17E. Acceptance is by vote of the community's legislative body, subject to Charter, General Law 4, Section 4. The attached or similar language may be used for vote. Annual asset limit, okay, asset limit. Okay. So it has an example. A community votes to accept Clause 17E local option, and that it will take effect in FY 2023. In FY 2023, the base asset limit of $40,000 was increased by 7%, and the taxpayers qualified for the exemption with assets up to $42,800, and that represents 40,000 times 1.07, which is 7%.
7%.
The FY 2024 asset limit is calculated by applying the FY 2024 COLA to $42,800. That results in the FY 2024 asset limit of $45,582. So that's 42,008 times 1.065, which is,
Exactly what you described.
yeah. So we can do that.
that's the 17E.
Yeah.
And that replaces 17D.
17D, yeah.
does the 17E just
The
tack
COLA
on and stuff?
increases the income. The COLA increases the income and asset limitations only in those communities that have accepted General Law 59S, Section 5, Clause 41D. Oh, well, then it starts talking about 41D. We don't want to go there. It's too confusing. It's all over the place. I don't know. It's too, it's a lot, so.
So there are a lot of 17s and
We're not using any of them.
in what you sent. I'm wondering what's the rationale between 17C, D, E, F? Do you have any idea, Linda?
Well, it just says here adjusted exemption amounts for clause 17s. Communities have the option of increasing each year the amount of exemptions granted to certain senior citizens and surviving spouses and minors under General Law 59, Section 5. And then it talks about clauses 17, 17C, C and a half, 17D, or by any percentage up to the COLA determined by the Commissioner of Revenue.
So they have to vote for the
And then it
17
says clause
Act in order
17
to
F.
let the
Now,
other
do we
stuff.
have 17D there?
We have 17D that.
So that's what we have right now.
We have
So-
17D and 41C.
Yes.
So it sounds like we need to go to F because it says the COLA increases the exemption amount only in those communities that accept General Law 59, Section 5, Clause 17F. Formerly, this option was included in a paragraph added to General Law 59, Section 5. And acceptance is by vote of the community's legislative body, subject to Charter, General Law, Chapter 5, Section 4. So it sounds like we have to vote on that
To be able to go to F.
to be able to go to F.
And the F was an exemption amount, it was a asset amount of,
It's an asset amount, and this is the problem is,
it was like 45,000 something, you said, I think, when you were reading.
well, that was just an example, so
Oh.
I'm just, the
We don't know what the start is.
annual increase cannot exceed the actual COLA for any year, so I don't know where to start with the exemption amount. It sounds like it must be, the percentage by which an exemption amount is increased each year must also be established by vote of the community's legislative body, subject to charter.
So
So where do we, what
I don't
amount-
even know where to start
I
with
don't
the amount
either.
there. I don't think we ever had F.
We haven't had D, so.
Well, we have,
Never, it's.
supposedly
town
D
approved
is
it, but we
here,
never used
but
it.
people haven't used it probably because the asset limit we had
Too low.
allowed them to do maybe something else like 41C.
Right.
So what are the asset limits? So if you're married, so this was 66. And
Yeah, so this is 66,000.
on there. So is this
And-
combination of single and married, or is that the total estate?
Well, this is a surviving spouse
Okay,
or persons who do not qualify for
41C.
41C.
Okay, so if they don't qualify for this,
You apply this.
That.
And so we probably should check that for some people on that.
on that other list.
Yes,
Because this
because
one
they can
doesn't
get
have the
that.
income.
They can get that. They can own a home. They just can't own a second home.
And the
And
assets, the whole.
their
don't
assets
count.
can't be more than 66,000.
So is this amount, the asset amount correct, though? That's what I'm wondering.
I have no idea.
So I don't know where that asset amount came from.
I don't either.
That might be an escape for folks that have a lot of money sitting in the house and they just don't count it. Now it's just a bunch of.
So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
What does our 17D amount say on there, on DLS?
320 or something?
No, that's the exemption. Does
Oh.
it say anything about the asset amount
No, okay. hold
that
on
we
a second.
allow?
Yeah. You must own the property 10 years, cannot be more than $66,000 of
Is that the
assets.
DLS site?
This is tax property exemptions clause. Looks like Lunenburg.
Yeah, we want, actually, can I see your DLS page
Of course.
here?
It's not, that date is not there on that sheet.
It'd just be nice if it had what the asset,
Okay. Oh,
adjusted asset limit.
This only shows the 41C, that's what you're
Right,
saying.
right.
Okay, my brain has got up.
No, so much moving here, it's
It almost
totally okay.
sounds, just by reading this, it almost sounds like the town votes that, because there's examples and it's
Yeah.
referencing 40,000, but it almost sounds like the town votes the asset
Do
amount.
we have any,
If you look at the documentation here,
yeah, and so, like, if we look at the single person versus married person here, this number is between those two.
yeah,
So a single person could have 66,000 as a surviving spouse. They wouldn't be eligible for the 41C that we used to have, but they might be eligible for 17D.
Yeah.
If that is a number we actually adopted by the town legislative branch.
yeah.
Do we have any record of 17D in there?
Um,
I mean, we know the 41C is not, we learned,
yeah.
but this one, maybe that's what, we've never used it because they were just getting that.
And I looked back in all the annual reports and I didn't find anything with asset limitation, only a change in the amount of the exemption for the 17D.
So would it be reasonable for us to say, well, these two, this 41C and the 17D seem to be twin clauses. This is if you're married, right? Your income can be this and your assets can be this. If you are a single person, a survivor spouse, and you're slightly more than what a single person would have, but you just lost your spouse, we're going to give you this one. So it seems like whatever we're doing with 41D, where those number plays out, we should make this 17D clause if we're allowed to. But the 17D clause looks like it's supposed to be set somehow. And the 17F is the one that's the COLA that's based on some amount that we don't know.
Right.
Just like the 41D, we figured out what that could be,
Could be, yeah,
but we need to figure that out for the 17F.
right.
And I just,
I don't know.
I don't have the time in the next 2 weeks to figure that out.
I know.
Well, we don't have, we just get it in there and we've got 2 months.
I just
to
don't
really-
know, and this has been the big issue that Rena and I have had, is we've done all this research, we've
Yeah.
contacted
Yeah.
the state, and it's been.
I
a
guess
whole
my question
process.
for the state is then can we set an amount and put a COLA on it?
I wonder if we should check with,
Can we ask that question?
maybe, I don't know if we should, I can go back to Carter and ask him if
Yeah.
maybe we could check with council if we can set
Can
an
do
amount.
that. Yeah, because otherwise we're gonna just keep going back to
Yeah.
this and recalling, oh yeah, but we don't know.
Right,
Let's see, can we do that? What do you think, Mr. Rabbit? Can we ask town council if we can set the amount of asset for 17D and then do a COLA from there for 17F? Because the issue is we don't know what to start with.
They do define the assets, but this is back to being really confusing again. And if I'm looking at.
Well, you're looking at 41C,
I'm looking at 41C.
yeah.
And I'm looking at this document that comes from the state, but I believe we feed the data in. And so if I'm looking at what's on this site, if yearly income, I'm just looking at 41C exemptions, and if it's a single person, here it says 31,500.
But we're not talking about 41C right
Oh,
now.
I know, but I'm just saying,
maybe
there's a
17E,
$10,000
right?
difference.
Not F, 17E, right?
Yeah, perhaps the answer is sitting in, going back and look at the town meeting of, April, received April of 2022. See what happened there, because that's where this shows a lot of changes, and this didn't get changed at all.
So you're
Even
saying,
lower.
so we're talking about 17D, but you're going back to 41C, saying we seem to touch 41C in 2022,
Maybe.
and maybe we did something with 17D.
17, that's
D then?
correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
I didn't find anything in the annual reports changing any asset amounts for the 17.
17 and the 41, neither one of
No,
them.
well, no, not the 41 we found, but we didn't find anything.
Nothing about
Did
17.
anything even get
17.
voted on?
Well, I'm
17?
thinking what it is whoever was on the board was like, well, we're constantly running up with this of 41C. Let's put this in 2022. But they hadn't been doing any 17Ds because they didn't need to do any 17Ds.
Right.
So there's nothing in there. And that's why where we are. So can we agree to ask town council to see if we can set
Yeah.
the limit we
And
want?
let's see what Kathy comes up.
Yeah.
She's digging around right now.
Yeah, well, if you look at all the information here on the IGRs, it continually says the COLA acceptance. The COLA increases the exemption amount only in those communities that
That is
accept
accepted
it.
a level.
So, and it sounds like it's a vote
Yeah.
by the legislative body, so,
So we need to set a level.
yeah. So that sounds like that's the solution.
Sarah, they're not paying us enough, you know.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that feels this way, because we've gone round
So
and round
I
and
can
round.
type this up.
Okay.
If you can type up something for 17D to set a level
Yes.
as an article.
Okay, and I'm gonna, Carter's gonna send me something that I'm gonna fill in the blank for
Okay.
that. And,
And let's just at least for
let
17D.
me get my note from the article
Table
that
it for
was
now?
No, put in agree to put in an article
for 17D. So let me,
that accepts a
let me find it.
asset level to be qualified for the 17D exemption.
Okay, say something like that.
Yeah.
And then we can come back and backfill with real one.
17E, right?
17E
Se-
and
Do we
F.
have to 17D set a level?
Well, we have to, if you wanna add COLA though,
You
We have to
put
set
F-
the level
You
for
have to put
17E.
F in there.
we have to add an asset level so we can add COLA to it.
And that's 17E.
That's 17E.
Okay, so we want to create an article that has this accept 17E, that accepts an asset and income level, so we can add COLA to it. Is E the one that gives COLA, or is that F?
Let me verify
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And just exemption amount.
I thought it was, it's been talking a lot about
Authorize
E,
an annual
so
increase in the
It's
amount of
okay.
exemption, just the exemption grant.
I have all night.
there's too many like.
There's
E's
too
and
many
F's.
articles.
It's
Yeah, letters.
too many letters. We have 17, D, E, and F.
Yes.
Right.
So, yeah, this doesn't help. This is, I'm just gonna give this back to you. I don't wanna look at it anymore.
Yeah,
That's the one.
so here's my sheet on the, when I was reading about that, so
Yeah.
clause 17s. Okay, so,
You know, I think Adam Costner would enjoy this.
I'm glad somebody will. And I'm glad we're getting it done,
Yeah,
because,
this is something that's been festering for years. Okay.
the process is messy, but I'm glad we're
well,
doing it.
it's.
Okay, so we voted on 17.
We haven't,
We haven't done that, to just move ahead as you described.
oh, this is just a note you sent to Rebecca about 17.
Right, I sent two different notes to get clarified, because I didn't.
Did it get clarified by email?
Yeah, you're seeing it.
That's not clarified.
Oh,
to
you know
me.
what, did I send her she said, yeah, turn it over to the lawyers too, at the end. And I said, we
Yeah,
did.
no, I don't have that. I just have the one where you're asking, and I'm like,
Okay, that's fine.
So it sounds like, from this example, it referenced that community votes to accept clause 17E local option, and that it will take effect in FY 2024. In FY the base asset limit of 40,000 was increased by 6.5%, as taxpayers qualified for the exemption with assets up to 42, and it breaks it down for 40,000 and then 6.5% increase.
okay, that's the
So
example.
it referenced
17E.
17E there.
Okay.
But then,
See, I thought
Then
I
it
don't-
talks about F over here. Community votes to accept clause 17F local option that will take effect to increase the exemption annually by 100% of the COLA. In FY 2024, base $175 exemption is increased by 3.4%, and the eligible taxpayers will receive an exemption of $186, so that's $175 times 6.5%.
Yeah.
The exemption amount is calculated by applying the COLA to $186, the results, so,
Yeah. And when we're doing 17E and F, the town is agreeing the state will only reimburse so much, and anything beyond that we are accepting
so it's
responsibility for.
increasing, so F sounds like it's increasing the,
It's
the amount of the exemption.
exemption.
And then E does
E-
the assets.
E is the assets for qualifying.
Yeah,
So I think initially D had some value.
yeah,
E allows it to increase the assets
with the COLA.
for the eligibility. And they realized at some point that is a pathetic amount, so
Yeah.
they added COLA to it with F.
Yeah, so what do we adopt then?
So we need
To
to
go both.
we need to adopt. We have 17D adopted. We need to figure out what value that's supposed to be at, and if we're supposed to set it, we set it. And so we're going around and around in circles because nobody knows what the 17D value was ever supposed to be. So we need to ask town council if we can set what that value should be.
Yeah,
And then we vote from that value, whatever value that is, for 17E to, in the future, increase whatever value we set in 17D by the COLA for asset eligibility in E. And we take that exemption amount and we adopt 17F and we multiply that exemption amount by the COLA also.
so we want to adopt E and F.
I think so.
For asset and income
Yeah,
adjustments to the 17,
but we have to set some value for 17D
right.
and see if town council agrees we can do that.
So we need to set asset amount for D,
Just got the letter I just received this morning from Becky.
17D, and
Well,
then,
it's last night.
and so 17E was again to adjust the COLA.
COLA,
COLA.
the asset accepted in 17D.
So that's the COLA to the amount of the exemption. And then the F is the amount to the asset, the COLA to the asset amount, right?
No, E is the asset amount, I thought, and F is adding COLA to the exemption. Maybe I have it mixed up.
Let's see.
And by the way, she does say that my 41C is going to become 41D.
Yeah.
Okay, yep. So E is to the, that's right.
Can we ask town council to make that draft?
Well, I think that's what she just said.
Okay, so
Yeah.
F is to the,
Have your
to
town
the
council.
amount of the exemption. And then E is to the amount of the asset amount.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Wow. I agree.
And okay, if we're allowed to do that for 17D, can we ask town council to draft the warrant article? I guess maybe you need to go through our town manager Carter to ask if that's possible.
Okay. I'll send him an email.
But like that looks like a lot of
This is a lot.
lawyer writing there
Yeah.
because I don't know what to do about 17D's value.
It's very cool.
And then to stack E and F on top of it, like, I just want some help.
Yeah.
I'm going some help.
Okay,
Are we done with that one?
Oh, we're done. I
so
think.
that draft is gonna come out. And
So you're going to write that out,
I'm gonna type this one
and
up.
then I'm gonna do the 17D
Yes.
ask.
And we approved that one. We approved everything so far.
Yeah, I guess I don't know what to do about this one
And I have to reference
17D.
Article 23 that was referenced in May 9th, 1998.
for 17.
17D,
Okay.
the exemption amount. So that's Article 23, May 9th, 1998, town meeting.
1998, is that what
Yeah,
happened?
which was $185.
The, my order of priority is the deferral and the 41, making it the D, going to D.
But I think if we have 41D and we're adjusting it, we should adjust 17 because it's meant to protect surviving spouses
Yeah.
in their homes, which
And
is
doesn't
really important.
41, C protect them too?
Well, if we're going from 41C, we're gonna adopt 41D.
D.
It's gonna change to 41D, and
Right.
that's the one. And then that has single income and married income. But what we noticed is 17 has this spot if you're a single surviving spouse at this point.
They're
The
treated
single
differently.
amount asset goes up
Yeah,
to make you eligible for 41C, which is really important.
yeah, yeah. yeah,
Or
yeah.
not 40. I said the wrong number.
No.
17. D, E, and F.
We
Okay.
knew what you meant.
I know, but I just caught myself and wanted to fix it.
And by the way, the deferral does the same thing.
Okay.
As long as you're staying in the house, either you're married.
So I think we need to put on our agenda that we have to review that Article 17 for the next meeting, which is the 18th. So if that's supposed to be to the town manager by the
I think
18th,
Yeah.
I think they understand that.
Doesn't the board, does the select board have to approve that stuff going? I don't think it's just sole discretion of the town manager.
Well, I think the town manager finalizes. I don't actually want to
Yeah, I do remember they.
try to figure it out right now.
Yeah, last time we had to go to the, we're close.
I'll confirm
Thank you.
that with him.
But I don't want to vote on that one without reading it.
Okay. So we're still with 41 okay, and we're still deferral okay.
We've at least got
approve those.
some solution. We still need help with the 17.
Yeah, but you can do that next meeting with Brian and yourself.
We just need more information, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah.
yeah,
But we're making some headway.
Yes.
I think.
Okay. Are you
Okay,
ready?
we're ready.
I swear I only want to spend 10 minutes on this next topic.
Yeah,
The website?
it's
Yeah.
9:22, so
Okay, I'm agreeable
So
with it.
short and sweet.
Short and sweet.
What is
Short and
this?
sweet. I have had a chance to talk to other folks in terms of, yes, there is a little bit of confusion. A couple, like I was telling you, one couldn't find it, it was there, whatever.
We got that.
Yeah, you got
What's
that.
the proposal?
The proposal is essentially we establish make an amendment within the existing site to essentially add
A table of contents.
And,
Question though, didn't you ask for this before and you were told you could not do that?
and I found out why you couldn't do it. The thing of it is, I can't break this down and break out sections. Every one of those in this first column is a website unto its own. And all these subsections are all part of that website you can't break out. So anyway, what we've got done is we're asking Sarah to say, look, in your first section, get rid of the redundant part, add a website, tables of contents by section, and then the website. Here is the first part anyway. I'm going brain dead here, Sarah. The citizens portion of it, I do have the corrective actions, the assessors portion in there. And I just haven't had a chance to go through all the wording on the other piece. So all I'm saying is that if you look at the website right now, it's staying the same. It's just that we're creating a way for people to find stuff a little bit faster, and essentially by adding in the table of contents, a location, and then we hot link that to another file, and that's all.
So it looks like we have the Assessors Department landing page,
Yep,
and they can see right away agenda and minutes, members and contacts.
right.
They don't,
That's all in one section.
but why do we need on the front page an overview of the assessors organization?
That's a subset of that. In fact, it's not even in there. Where is that? The overview of the,
Right under members and contacts. I mean, if I'm going to the front page, honestly, sure, I want to see the agendas and minutes, but then I want to see immediately taxpayer forms and guides.
yeah,
Yeah.
And I want to see agendas and minutes, taxpayers forms and guides, but maybe I just want to see agenda and minutes, motor vehicle abatement forms,
yeah, that's the forms.
exemption forms,
Yeah,
Maps is a big thing.
maps.
right, the GIS maps,
GIS
that's the
maps.
maps. I remember,
The rest of this stuff,
It's too much information. and-
I'm already looking at this and I'm just like exhausted. I'm like, where do I find?
I had
What I
one
want.
woman come in, she was so confused on Thursday night, and I had told Jack, I said, I think we just need some links for people. Really what they want is their motor vehicle abatement form. They want to be able to look at the maps.
right,
They want to find out about their exemptions, their real estate abatement forms. They're just the general things that they want. Information throughout the year.
I'll push the forms section up front. I'll come back and say, take that section and move it up front.
You know, I went to
Or
the
do you-
form section and it linked me to every single form in Massachusetts.
Right, and the,
I don't want to look through every single form in Massachusetts. I want to go agendas and minutes. I want to go see motor vehicle and I want linked right to that form. I would just want to see that one. For tax abatement, I want to go immediately to that form. And for maps, I want to go immediately to the maps.
Okay.
I like all this other stuff.
then
And
I,
we can keep that on the front page, but then, you know, you can keep another link to citizen information.
how about
and
if I
keep that
just
the
take
same.
the FAQs, put that right at the front? Now, the reason, by the way, we use the state, we go right to the state, is there are too many changes. We can't keep up with all that stuff unless you want to hire a full-time person just to modify and keep. So we would rather take it
I
just to,
think if we only have a couple of things we have to change regularly, like how often do they update the motor vehicle for?
We typically just,
you took it right, you went right to the state.
yeah, and honestly, the year on it, a lot of times you can just change the year.
Right.
But I don't think you should be referring them to the
Well, you
the
did.
DOR.
No.
And I don't think they should be looking at training modules. I think
Well,
it's
that's
too
a whole different module.
I think
That's
it's
the-
too much information. Honestly, I think you're overwhelming people. I do. I
Okay.
just think it's too much.
We have an assessor section, right? That's for assessors, that's section 2. That's to provide all the information that anybody who was an assessor would want to take a look at. Then we have remember, we had the citizen section in which we were trying to answer questions to any reasonable level of curiosity. So if mailing, you know, that sits in the citizen section, and we can put the frequently asked questions right at the very top there, and just not cause them to do anything. But you have to take them to someplace once it's there. The way it's structured right now, it's a different it's a different site location. It's a whole different light.
How about, you know, we can keep this stuff, but if we make the landing page front
Easier
and
and
center,
simple.
like front and center on the landing page, you know, what do people need? They need the agendas and minutes.
Mm-hmm.
The number one thing people are calling about right now are motor vehicles.
Yeah.
Put it right under the agenda and minutes.
Okay.
Under that, what do people want next?
Well, how about if we
Abatement
How
forms.
about if we did like little tabs on the front? Motor vehicle excise, GIS maps, real estate abatement forms.
She has, all of these are
Any of
tabs.
these links, like information.
Yeah, all of these are tabs.
especially like the division card,
Yeah.
how to get your
Yeah.
property record card, because that's really what they call us about.
Yeah.
They,
It's like I've been to the page, and for me, I understand where to go, but I went to click to find the forms, and I was like, oh my god, it's so many links. Which one do I want? I don't want to scroll through these. I just want somebody to have done it for me.
Right.
That's most users.
So for a start, you gotta go to go to the site, right? And then you have to go and hopefully it gives you this stuff and agenda minutes, but that's town agenda minutes and things like that. You actually have to go up to the menu section and get to departments, right? And then you get to the assessors department.
Jack, I've
Oh,
been
yeah.
to the site.
Yeah, and then so you've only got 3 sections: citizen information, assessors toolbox, and assessed values by location. And that's their house, right?
But can we instead of having those 3 drop downs, can we do motor vehicle, tax abatement, maps,
Yeah, we just-
and then additional citizen information, assessors underneath those?
Okay, I can put the
that would be
frequently asked questions at the top, and I will come back and remember.
Why do we need to put the FAQs at the top? Most people's FAQs are, where do I find my motor vehicles?
Yeah,
Where do I find my tax
Right.
abatement? They don't need to click FAQ. They need to click motor vehicle. They need to click tax abatement. They need to click
you
maps.
just want to, you don't
They
want
don't
to.
want to open another page to get to
No.
their thing. They want to see, where do I get my map? Where do I get my tax abatement? Where do I get my maps?
Okay.
And then for the scholarly among us, put the FAQs after that.
the problem is if they don't find it on there, they're calling us, which is taking
Yeah.
up more
And
time.
that's.
And that's the problem is I had 2 people Thursday night that one woman came in 40 minutes in the office trying to
Yeah.
help her find, I couldn't even find it myself.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
I mean, they,
So it's
like
just-
I liked the initial layout, but we're
I
getting
do.
feedback that
They can't find
they
stuff.
can't find stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
So-
and I help, and it was kind of strange because one night we couldn't find a motor vehicle
Yeah.
abatement application.
Yeah.
And then the second night, we found it right away. So I don't know if maybe the site was being worked on. And then one night, I had somebody else come in for the map. She
Mm-hmm.
couldn't find the map, so then
right.
for the map. So
I mean-
that's the thing. If we had tabs, it would just make it easier for them to be able to
I'm
just
gonna put,
right away.
Yeah.
right at the very front end, quick access. And I'll put a quick access screen in there and let them
Well,
touch
just
those
put 'em
pieces.
right in bold, like little tabs, motor vehicle.
Like where you showed that group of 3, don't put quick access. They don't want to click on another tab.
I
put-
can't get you there any faster.
Yes, you can.
How I do that?
You type on the tab
You
motor
gotta get,
vehicle,
okay, you gotta
and
get,
it links
oh, once you're
to
there,
the specific form.
once you're in our site,
Show me the spot where you had 3. The citizen part, that part.
and
If you look at Littleton, they have a great website, or even Groton, Air.
it's too simple.
But that's what we want. We do want simple.
I agree,
For-
simplicity is good. Okay, so I'm gonna
So
go
right
to the
here-
assessors department, okay.
Yep, instead of having it citizen information, assessor's toolbox, assessed by location, you can keep these 3 tabs with all the links,
Mm-hmm. I
move
can
it
slip
down.
another tab in there.
No, you can put a tab that says motor vehicle. And you click on it and it goes right to the motor vehicle form. You can put another tab that says abatement.
Okay, so I can just take the whole form section and move it at the top. Forms
you
and
don't-
guidelines.
But that's not simple. They have to click on that and then they have to open and scroll and look for each form. That's not what they want to do. They want to go to the site and be able to find motor vehicle. I don't want to think, I just want to find my motor vehicle tab.
Yeah.
I don't want to open another thing and wait for my slow internet connection to load.
Okay,
I just want to find the motor vehicle form, by golly.
okay, I can do, I don't know, Sarah, Sarah, I don't know if Cara is gonna be excited about it, but we'll just tell her she's gonna go do it.
I just feel bad because I know she's got limited time.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I
I don't
know
want
that.
to keep
And she's-
asking her.
And I
we're in a
know,
big queue.
and I know you put so much into it, it's just that the feedback is that we need to be
More simple.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we don't want people calling us because they can't find it.
No, I know.
They
The
can't
more
work with the
things that people can
website.
solve themselves, the
Yeah.
better off we are.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we don't have the energy
And-
enough to do what we're doing
And,
now.
you know, I think she can probably get those in right under this, and
Well,
you can still
you
keep
see what
those
she
three
does?
parts.
Okay?
Yes.
And then she gives us another whole section, and then we have to go back to find it.
Yes.
And that's what I was trying to say.
So-
At least give us a table of contents or something, and she wouldn't do that.
But
And-
if you make those tabs be the
I can
table of
isolate it.
contents for people,
I can
you
isolate.
can
it.
you can
I can
you
isolate
can
it.
shortcut that problem.
Right, and the thing of it is, okay, I will go play with it again. Okay?
I know you put a lot into it.
You don't know.
Oh, I do. I saw
And
the
it's-
I saw the maps.
I know. Okay, I will take another stab at it, but I should all I know is I'm seeking perfection. And at the end of the day, young lady, you are gonna have the best website of anybody in the state. And then we're gonna call Becky up.
I
and
know
say-
we will.
Yeah, we're gonna call Becky up and say, we want recognition for this. We want you to nominate us as an example of a really good website. And then next thing you know, you're gonna be the queen of websites. You'll be a super highly regarded person. And you can come back, you're gonna turn it off, come back to town and ask for more money.
Okay, so
Okay.
I think we're set with the website.
Okay?
We've got postponed topics, which we will
Do I have anything else in here?
stay in the postpone.
No.
The next meeting is September 18th.
Right.
And are there any closing comments from the public? Would you like to say anything? Any closing
They're all in
comments?
bed.
Any closing comments from the board? Okay, motion to adjourn.
Thank you. And I would like to compliment the chairman.
Unnecessary.
She
Motion
did a
to
great
adjourn.
job.
Almost adjourned.
Okay.
Yes.
Seconded. Aye. Aye.
All those in favor?
And
Good.
you're
Aye.
honorary.
Yeah, you did a lot, you did well.